Alright, it's time. Another week. ZTGD Radio. This is episode 812. Wait. December 16th, 2024. On the show this week we have Terrence.
Hey, what's up?
Got the wombat.
Yes, sir.
We have Anthony. Don't yell at me.
$700. Go fuck yourself. Some asshole was out here being like, well, there's that exclusive version of the Xbox Series X for $600 and it only has a higher hard drive capacities, and I don't hear people bitching about that. Okay.
Cool.
But the difference is it's a collector's edition. Like,
exactly.
It's
like
that
go
for a reason.
Go fuck yourself.
I'm not. I complain about it. I ain't buying it.
Yeah, I'm not either. Like, because I already have one.
You can get the equivalent hardware.
Yeah.
For less money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever.
Well, don't worry. We'll talk about that Pro. That Prickety Pro. First, we're going to talk about video games, because, boy, there are a lot of those.
Man.
Holy shit. I can't even keep track of, I have to pull up a list of shit I played. Although, it was so funny, because I think, what was it, 3 weeks ago, we talked about it, the Omochapon.
Omochapon, yeah.
Yeah, I said, I'm going to go get it, and then, I just totally forgot. And then last night, I was like, dude, I got, $20 worth of coins on the eShop. So I finally bought it, but I haven't played it yet. So,
I don't.
It's not going to set the world on fire, but it's a pretty good indie game.
Yeah, if you go look at the screenshots, you will immediately get interested.
It's a platformer. There's no combat. It's a sort of a Metroidvania, and you play as little gachapon toys.
Oh, okay.
And so the car has can move the fastest, but it doesn't have a jump. There's a spring-loaded bunny that is your jumping character. You have a robot mech thing that has climbing abilities because it has arms and legs, and there's some neat stuff to it. Yeah, I really like that game.
Yeah, so I picked that up. Omochapon?
Omochapon.
Omochapon. It's made by one dude.
Yep.
Omochapon, there it is.
It's $15, I think, is what it was on the eShop, and I had $20 worth of coins, so I got it for free. So I'm looking forward to playing that over the next couple of days. But why don't you go ahead? What else you got, Anthony? What you play this week?
So I only have 2 games to talk about. One of them is Wild Bastards. I keep thinking, okay, close to the end, and then I realize, so I want to finish the story before I write my review because it unlocks the challenge mode, and I kind of want to know what the challenge mode is because I really like it. Okay. I'm going to talk about the other game first because I haven't put as much time in. I played Crypt Custodian.
Crypt Custodian.
Yeah, it's a recent release.
Is it the one that's on Game Pass?
It might be. I don't...
Because there was another Crypt, or what was that, Core Keepers? There
was the Mortuary's Assistant.
This one was actually C.
No, you're talking about... God damn it. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Graveyard Keeper?
Yeah.
Oh, I played that. I like that game.
I think that's what you're talking about, Ken?
No. Oh, I know this. Okay, I know this game. This is a cat fucking game. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so it's not a cat fucking game, so let's start with that.
Wow.
I didn't mean you're fucking cats.
You do not fuck cats.
That's not what I meant, but yeah, okay. Go on.
Then why'd you say it?
Because he's a cat. He's a cat with a broom.
No, you said it wrong. You don't say it's a
okay,
cat
well,
game.
it's a fucking cat game. There we go.
It's a big difference.
Leave me alone. Respect your elders. I'm an old man, and I say things in reverse sometimes.
So good. All right, Joe Biden.
What? I'm gonna do a 9/11.
Corn Pop wasn't a good dude. The children used to wipe my hair back and forth. They go,
hey man,
turn blonde in the sun.
Listen, I heard that speech. Like, I remember I saw that and I was like, what the shit is he talking about? Who
He's talking
was
about corn
rubbing
pop.
his hair? Oh,
So,
man.
Crypt Custodian is essentially a Zelda game. It's you play as a cat. You got a broom. You do like sword attacks with it. Big open world, puzzles to solve, some combat. It's kind of got a setup. I was worried at first because it was like, oh, is this going to be a Souls-like game? But not really. You have like save points in the world that you go to, and that's where you respawn. And you can equip new powers and stuff, but ultimately it's not a Souls game. It is a Zelda game. It's got a decent sense of humor. I've only played maybe an hour, so I haven't played much. Because I've been playing mostly Wild Bastards for review, and when I first started up this game, I hated it because it wasn't Void Bastards. Void Bastards is a first-person shooter roguelike. This is not that. This is a first-person... This is a hero shooter mixed with a single-player hero shooter with minor randomization and more of it's actually a strategy game.
Yeah, I started playing it, so I played through the first world and like one stage of the second world. What's randomized?
So the worlds that you can like when you have your map, the planets you can touch down on are randomized.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it didn't really explain that, so or I missed it.
If you fail, so right now you would have Spider Rosa and
the shotgun dude. I can't remember.
Doc Casino.
Yeah,
I also have them. I played it as well.
So those two are my favorite characters, even though I have a band full of outlaws now. I mean, Doc Casino's overpowered. So when you go into a match, which is man, there's so much to explain, and it's really hard to kind of do so. But basically, you have a galactic map, and you choose kind of which direction you're going through. That is the first thing you do is you see the map, and then you touch down on a planet. So as soon as you move to a planet, you're locked in, and then you have to touch down on the planet. Then the planet has its own map. And you kind of move your character across it. Think like more like a board game because there's only so many places you can move your character. It's all attached like with lines from each point to point. And there's roadblocks, and anytime you run into a random enemy on the map that's moving around, turns into a first-person shooter, and it's sort of an arena shooter. Because it's a small sort of area, and then sometimes, like on certain planets later on, there's storms which do damage to you if you're in the where the lightning strikes. Some have less gravity, so it's always got like different settings for each planet, and then the enemies you fight are different on each planet. And then because you're playing essentially a hero shooter, every character that you can bring in has advantages, except that some of the... Okay, so I'm not going to spoil all the outlaws. I don't plan to do that in my review either, but the first two, Spider Rosa has 2 6-shooters, and she's got 4 arms, so you can kind of just keep shooting because she's reloading the gun with her other set of arms while you're shooting with the other gun. It's a neat concept. Her special ability is a decoy. Doc Casino has a 2-barrel shotgun, so he only gets 2 shots. However, he enters every time you go in. He gets a random ability. I don't know if that's out right away, but that is a thing that happens eventually, at least.
I think it kicks in the second level.
Yeah, and his pickup, like his special ability, which are like pickups on the map, randomly kills somebody. So if you're good enough to run around and dodge fire and just collect special abilities, he kind of makes the early game very easy. The next guy you unlock is the guy who can crash the game, which I've done multiple times. I'm playing on Switch, and it usually doesn't have too many issues. Sometimes there's slowdown, but there has to be a lot happening. One character lobs fire, and the fire sort of persists longer than you'd expect. And what ends up happening is there's too much going on, and the game would just crash on me.
Well, you think they test that?
Yeah. I avoid using him anyways, partially because it turns a bit into chaos with that character. And you have to kind of think about what paths you want to go through planet-wise, because every planet kind of tells you what you're getting when you land there. There's also like event markers on the galactic map. And there's like every character has 6 spots for aces, then 3 spots for core aces, which is that character only, and then charged aces, because there's so much to this game. Like, if you want to play just a really good shooter, this is not for you. Because, Jesus Christ. So there's a friendship system. People who are feuding with each other can't go down to the same planet with each other. But friendships between people give you bonuses when they're next to each other. So you can separate everybody on the map to be their own person and move all 3 pieces around. Or you can double up and have 2 people go together, so when one outlaw potentially dies in combat, you can switch to the other outlaw and finish it. But if you have friendship, they also will give you special items or whatever, depending on the characters that are friends. So like if you're playing as Doc Cassino, I can't remember what Spider Rosa's special ability is, but if you're Spider Rosa, Doc Cassino gives you random items when you have friendship between those two. And you can make friendships and stop feuds by giving beans. So beans is a resource you can collect. There's character mods, which are only for that galactic map specifically. If you find one that gives you turbo, you want that because turbo allows you extra moves. So you can do an entire stage, because the other thing is when you're on the planet, you only have so many turns to get through it before a super powered bad guy shows up. And you get a lot of infamy, which is another reason. There's so many goddamn resources. So there's infamy, and then there's money, but some of those resources don't carry on system to system, but infamy does, and you always give your infamy over the first thing you do once you get to a new system. I have died a couple times, like have my whole party wiped out. This is kind of where it stops being a roguelike, because what's nice is it just brings you to another galaxy to start over to unlock that outlaw. And every time I look at the character screen, I'm like, oh, that's all the coffins now. No, I still have like 2 more. And like the game gets progressively harder as you go through. They will just throw everything at you. Enemies that can. And have you played it at night yet, Ken?
Oh no, I think I've only played like 4 different maps.
Okay, so night is dark. Like night makes it extremely difficult because you can only see a couple feet in front of you.
Oh boy.
You kind of make silhouettes out on the horizon line. But I think my biggest... So when I started this, I was upset that it wasn't Void Bastards. I actually think it's better than Void Bastards because it just kind of allows you to do all the stuff Void Bastards wanted you to do without having to run around a level without like ammo, which is like there's so many ways to get screwed in Void Bastards. I find this game harder skill-wise than I do luck wise. Like every time I would lose in Void Bastards, I would usually I'd either lose right away because the rolls were so bad, or I would get so far and be like, oh, everything's going well, and then I would just get the worst luck and be totally screwed. This, I never feel like I'm going up against something that is like unfair. It's just they outshot me. I'm just not as good of a shot, I suppose. So like I'm learning better, learning how to deal with mods better. Because again, like one of the mods, every time you make a kill, it drops nitro. So, or it has a chance to drop nitro. And then nitro allows you to move more. So once I'm done combat, I may have 4 things of nitro, which allow me 4 extra moves, which means I can do a planet essentially in one turn. So there's a lot going on. It's going to be a really hard review to write. I think it's amazing, though. I think again, if you're looking for more Void Bastards, this isn't it. But if you're looking for a really good, like, rogue / first person hero shooter / tactics game, it's great. I don't know about how many more of those there are. It reminds me, this is going to sound like it's not a compliment to some, I'm sure. It reminds me a lot of Soul Calibur 3's like weird tactics minigame where you moved guys around the map.
Yeah, that's not a selling point there.
It's not. I remember that.
It's better than that because like that mode wasn't fully thought out. Also, it could bug your system and destroy your memory card. But it's sort of got that down where it's like these are things that you wouldn't normally blend together. It's just the closest thing because I rarely see a turn-based strategy game where the combat is handled in some other way than just, 2 tanks roll up to the sides of the screen like Advance Wars or people on horses in Fire Emblem. So it's a very different system than that. I really like the character designs, but some of the later characters, like there's one whose ability is that you lasso people, but you have to hold the trigger down to kill them, and you move very slow during that time. The character moves very silently. It's supposed to be stealth, but most of the time when you're going up in fights, it's a swarm, and it's usually more than one type of enemy. So like he just doesn't come into play very often. I don't know. It's neat. I like the characterization. I'm liking the story, which is not like deep, but like I think is more interesting than like Corporation unfreezes prisoners to go help them. And then they die and they just ship all the stuff back and they unfreeze another prisoner, which is the story of Void Bastards. I don't know. I really like it. I mean, I love Doc Casino's design. The fact that his whole thing is he's a slot machine. Essentially, he's a slot machine robot, and all of his powers are based off of like randomization. And then like his superpower is I kill a random enemy by getting a jackpot. I don't know. There's something about that I was like, that's a really cool mechanic. I've got. It's going through the tropes essentially. There's one character that I just they gave it to me later on, and I don't know. I feel like there's got to be some way to get these characters to be better, but then I also don't want to use them. So like I don't know if I have to use them to get more like be more likely to get cards for them that increases their power, but there's a lot of mechanics I'm still not fully sure of, but that's all I've really played this week is just trying over and over. To get my last Outlaw, I think I did that Galaxy 3 times. That means minimum of 5 worlds, which means however many fights on each world, and As you lose outlaws, you're stuck with less and less to use, because potions are hard to find, whatever they're called, to heal people. So, yeah, I like it. It's really hard to kind of just talk about, though, because there's just so much shit going on. It's a really beautiful game, though, to look at. I think the art style, I'm really glad they stayed with the same sort of art style they used in Void Bastards. So they're one of those studios I'll be watching whatever they do next.
Yeah,
That's
I
it for me,
enjoyed
literally.
I enjoyed what I played of it so far. I did have to tweak the controls. It felt very stiff when I first started playing it. Like the turning and stuff didn't feel as good as it should have.
I didn't have an issue with that, surprisingly, but yeah, it's you'd have to anyways, because you'd have to switch the vertical.
Oh yeah, that's like pretty much every game. But like even after I did that, I was like, it just, I don't know. It felt like really. It has the same, like it has some of the more advanced options, like your turning curve and like your acceleration ramp up on the right stick. Like they really put a lot of those features in there, and like most of the time I don't mess with those. But this game just felt a little stiff, so I had to tweak it a little bit.
There's one character, one of the later characters you unlock. His ultimate, I'm surprised, because a lot of them are like, okay, I kind of know what this character's ultimate is. Like the guy who can crash the game, who shoots fire. Like his is just a fiery explosion out from him, and does extra damage and catches everybody on fire that's nearby. But one of them, I'm surprised, wasn't like wasn't an Overwatch. His powers, he jet packs into the air and then crashes back down to the earth. And he has like 10 seconds of that, and he like kills everybody that he lands on. It's just one of those, oh, that's actually very different. I was surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool game. I'm not gonna lie. Like I had fun playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I played.
I both my games this week I am pleasantly surprised by. Well, again, I messaged Ken early on and said I don't think I like.
Yeah, it was funny watching your journey. You're like, I don't like this. I don't like. Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's it for me.
Terrence, you want to talk about?
I'm just here to be angry this week, to be honest.
That's fine. It's a good week to be angry. So.
Oh, he said he was angry. Okay, well, all right. Yeah, I have shit to talk about. Hold on, let me get my list out.
Check the embargoes.
That's what yeah. I can't talk about Plucky Squire at all.
No, that's Tuesday, I think. Tuesday.
So yeah, I'm going to write that review up tonight. I did finish that last night, and I am very excited to talk about that. But yeah, you have to wait till next week to hear about it. But yeah, we'll get the review this week. So I played some more, obviously, Warhammer, Space Marine 2. That game continues to be a lot of fun. I
gotta talk about that game.
Yeah. What's up? Go ahead. Yeah, I saw you was playing it last night. I was going to join you, but I was about to go to bed. I was like, man, I'm fucking tired.
Yeah,
but I was about to hit you up. But yeah, go ahead. What's up?
I don't think I like that game in single player.
Okay.
It doesn't feel tuned for single player. Number one. My AI comrades don't seem to do what I need them to do.
They do not, no.
Also, it gets kind of boring. Like, it's just the same, brother, let's move here, fight a horde. Brother, let's move here, fight. Like, that's a lot of fun when you're playing with other people.
Yep.
But when you're by yourself, it's kind of boring. And it's a hard thing to say this game is boring, because like every vista is like fucking jaw-dropping. You walk over an edge and you just see like thousands of these things coming at you, and it's such a spectacle.
Yeah.
But then when you actually get in a fight, you're like, okay, let's do this again. Like without other people, I don't know. It just loses something. Like, I can't even do more than a level when I play by myself. It's just I'm not having fun.
I got you. I agree. And I mean, you know, I had to play the campaign by myself. And I talked about it in the review too. I'm a fan. of the universe and of the first game and stuff like that.
And I'm sure
So
that being like a huge
persevered.
fan, like it helps. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And it does. That's what I'm saying. Like I kind of persevered. Like that stuff didn't bother me as much. I was like, oh God, but okay, it is what it is. But you're absolutely right. Again in the review I talked about the AI companions. They're not great. I had to restart a couple of missions because you'll get to points where you have to assemble at certain areas for it to progress. And like, it's usually you're like jumping down or going across some place where you can't get back to where you were. Well, I would get there and my AI people would just be standing at the lip of a jump and just looking. And I'm like, y'all gonna come? I'm down here running in a circle, shooting grenades, like pinging. Yeah, hello. They just stood there like, you have to restart. And then in some of those fights, especially in the later stages towards the end of the game, yeah, the AI is really not shit. They don't help you out because especially in that final battle.
I'll tell you, the first time I had to do something while they were supposed to protect me is where I about lost my mind.
Yep.
Because they don't do shit. They like run off and do their own thing, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it's so wild too because it's like they'll go away from whatever the objective is to go fight some random enemy that they just saw rather than fighting the one that's in front of us right here. Like you're absolutely right. That is a problem. It's made for co-op.
Yeah,
it is 100% fun. With 1,000,000%, it is way more fun with people. The one thing I haven't done actually is I haven't got to play the campaign with anybody. I've been playing the operations, which is kind of like the secondary campaign, and then a lot of multiplayer. But I need to try to jump in and see if I can join.
They really need to do a tuning pass on single player because it's like even on the easy difficulty, you are just getting thwarted. Because it's tuned for 3 players as opposed to 1 player. It just
as somebody who was playing the original literally an hour ago, all the stuff you're talking about is there in the original game too.
Sure, but that was like how many years ago?
No. I know. That's my point. The original game is very much a go to this room, kill these guys. Go to this room, kill these guys. Go to this room, kill these guys.
Yeah.
The original game benefited and still benefits very much from being the best game to simulate the experience of being a Space Marine and killing a whole bunch of shit and shooting it and cutting it up with a chainsaw sword and all the fun stuff that goes along with Warhammer. But it was at its core really just a corridor shooter. It was, go, like I said, go to this room, kill these guys, go to this room, kill these guys. That was the entire game. It also benefited from switching enemy types halfway through the game. But it's all the stuff you're talking about is the bad AI for your companions. It's all there.
I mean, if they were going to bring that, that feeling of that first game, they kind of nailed that. I think what drives me crazy though, like especially with the AI being so bad, is you'll get in these fights and you've got a lot of these little things like right at you that are like close combat stuff. But while you're fighting them, like you got these dudes off at the way in the distance, like hitting you with this green shit.
Oh yeah.
Those are the okay.
I hate that fucking shit because like it just pelts me over and over again. I'm like, ugh.
Because
I think people also forget how hard the first game was because the first game is also like that.
Yes,
you're just getting mobbed constantly by stuff that's shooting at you and stuff that's in your face, and the first game is not easy for sure. It's mindless, but it's not easy.
I had a lot more patience back then.
Yeah,
definitely. Definitely. That was before you had kids and stuff.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
Kids take all your patience. You ain't got patience for shit no more.
I can't share my patience anymore. So
think about how I am, man. I have 5 of them. Like,
yeah.
I'm down to Alexis, who is my baby, and I have to catch myself because I'm like, just be cool because you gave everybody else a chance. You can't turn up on her because I don't have no more patience left.
You at the finish line. You got to make it.
Exactly. Okay, so. All right, couple of things. So Ryan, this one does have multiple enemy types, and it's not a spoiler. They've actually talked about it as well.
Yeah, I've seen some of the clips.
Okay, cool. Because I know how you are about that. But yeah, it does have different, and those enemies that you're talking about, Ken, are the chaos, the humans Because again, there are the Space Marines, which are modified, humans were in this armor, but then there's actually the Militaria. I can't remember what they're. The normal army grunts running around. So there are those human people that you literally just run over. Well, the chaos people have those on their sides too. The heretics. That's what's shooting you. Those blue beams. Those are snipers. Shoot them one time, you literally will blow them up. Your bolter does an incredible amount of damage to normal humans. But yeah,
these aren't humans,
and they kill you quick.
These aren't humans. So this is still in the early game, where you got these like monsters shooting the green shit from a distance, and then you get the floating fuckers that shoot like the big blue beam at you.
Those suck. Yeah, those are like mini bosses.
Like I was in a fight last night. Like I did the mission where you got to like line up the 4 targeting systems.
Yeah.
And like I was fighting a bunch of little ones like right close range, and every now and then I just like fall over and just get destroyed. I'm like, what the hell's hitting me? I had to go around the corner. It's that big floating head shoot me with the blue shit. And my dudes are over here like, I don't know.
They don't help.
They're jacking off in the corner or something. Like, I don't know what they were doing.
Even if you mark the enemies, because you can press up to mark, it does shit. Like they do not redirect. Like it does not help you. Man, let me know. I'll get on there and kill some Tyranids with you. Like this game is fun. Like I'll help you out. I'll watch your back, player.
Yeah, no, I think this game would be a lot of fun, but I just find like if you're gonna play it by yourself, I don't know, man. I would just get frustrated.
And I got frustrated quite a bit. Like I walked away from the campaign a couple of times. Like, bruh. It was rough. But it was kind of like with Mass Effect, because I think I gave Mass Effect the first one a 10, and that game was broke as fuck. Like it had all kind of issues and stuff. But the experience, like everything that Warhammer gave, like was just, I walked away like, damn, yeah, I was frustrated with that shit, but it was I had fun. You know what I mean? Like it was so much fun. But yeah, let me know, man. I get on there, like for real.
Yeah,
you too.
You talking about like, oh, we got kids this year, like we're going to find time.
I know, and that's the shit. Like that's where we are at that age, where it's like, well, hold on, because I
let me pencil you in my calendar 2 weeks from Tuesday.
Right, and then but your wife gonna ask you to clean out the garage or something, or you got to go help with this. And
hey, I did that this weekend. I cleaned the shit out of my garage. There's so much trash in there.
We got to do ours. We were talking about that the other day. It was like we got to clean this garage out because it's okay, we can move on. But Warhammer, yeah, that's fantastic. I messed with Wild Bastards a little bit. I tell you what, I remember playing Void Bastards a little bit. I didn't get very far in it, but I was super confused when I loaded up Wild Bastards. I was like, wait, what? I don't remember the last one being a strategy game. I got to move around a map. I thought I was just the first person shooter with some roguelite stuff. What are we doing here? But it's a good time. I'm gonna dig back into it. I didn't get to play much just because I have so many other review games.
There's too many fucking video games right now.
Yeah, it's so many. So I kind of only dabbled in that. Just like I dabbled in NBA 2K25.
Yeah, me too.
I played, like I was telling y'all before the show, like I haven't really watched sports
Don't worry, Jake,
in a long
Jake
time.
from State Farm really appreciates you being there.
I'm sure he does.
Oh, he's a big part. He's got a quest in the career mode.
For fuck's
Does he really?
You show up at your house and he wants to play 2-on-2 against you.
No, Jake, I don't want you at my house. Why do you know where I live?
If you win, you get a State Farm polo and a State Farm pair of khakis that you can wear around.
I don't want those either.
So look, here's what
you can wear them. You can wear them to the Gatorade training center where they'll tell you all about the new Gator Light and how beneficial it is.
What the? Is this a fucking video game or is it an advertisement?
This is an advertisement.
It's an advertisement.
Not only is it an advertisement, it is like the blatant advertisement from Wayne's World.
Yeah, that's 100% what it is. Yep.
But without the sense of humor about it.
Nope.
No, like they're just dead serious.
Like,
they're like State Farm.
You'll buy it, piece of shit. Fuck State Farm. Fuck Jake.
Anyway, sorry, Terrence.
Where we are. No, man, you cool. Like this is I was coughing anyway. So look, this is what threw me about the 2K25. So I installed it. First of all, why the fuck is it? Why is everything 140 gigabytes? Like, what's happening?
Next generation. It's modern video games. You gotta agree to a EULA, download 140 gigabytes, and pray.
Buy some microtransactions.
And then, dig through this menu that's fucking terrible to get to what you want to do.
Well, see, and that's what I'm going to get into. So when I loaded up NBA, and booted it up, it like threw, like I expected the menu where I could pick career, quick match, or whatever. Because again, I just wanted to play a quick match. It like threw me into the career thing.
Yeah.
Like I had a cutscene. I was in a finals game. I had to pick my favorite team, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
And then you get to the main menu, and it's like, do you want to buy this? No. Do you want to buy this? No. Do you want to buy this? No.
Then you can pick what mode you want to play.
I mean, like, if you could figure that menu out, like that's like Wombat, I'm sure you're used to it because you play it every year. But like looking at that menu, I was like, where do I go?
Yeah, it's not as simple as back in the day when you would have like literally like quick play, or quick match, and then versus or something like that. It was a lot of stuff. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, even my GM is buried under the My NBA menu, so you wouldn't really know where to find it if you don't know.
And I guess they have their own TV program because they were like, "Hey, this season on NBA TV." I'm like, "What the fuck is this?"
Like, there's all kinds of shit.
They've
like
had that for a while.
It's crazy.
TV.
That fucking menu, man. It's just like you scrolling through it, and you're like, "What? How do I just like play a fucking game?"
Yep, it was. Yeah, I had to do some digging, but I finally made it. Okay, and I got to play a match. And like I was telling y'all before the show, I don't, because I haven't watched sports. I don't know anybody who's on these fucking teams anymore. So I don't know who's good, who's not.
The only person I know is LeBron because he's been in the NBA for 57 years.
Exactly. And I knew I didn't want to play the leg because I'm like, I ain't even a fan of him. So I went classic. I had the 97 Bulls. I had Jordan and Rodman and all of them pimping on the team. And I played versus the Supersonics. So again, I don't play it every year. So jumping
my favorite players are T.J. Juxon, DeMarcus Williams,
Bobson Dugnut.
Yeah, he's great. Great point guard.
Osmataz Buckshank.
Hell yeah, Osmataz Buckshank is my favorite player.
Oh man,
artist formerly known as, was it Mouse something?
Yeah,
I'm just stealing the
Mouse Cop. That's what it was.
Mouse Cop.
I'm just stealing
construction sounds.
The East and West Bowl names from
Key and Peele.
The dolphin sound.
Yeah, the player formerly known as Mouse Cop.
Yeah.
Torque, then just construction noises. Lewis.
Oh, I love that sketch. Like,
X-Wing at Aliciousness.
You know what started that sketch was like there's an actual dude in the NFL named DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
I know y'all put that in the thing, and I was like, hell no.
No, hold on. The fuck there is.
There is. Dude's name is DeBrickashaw.
I believe you.
And what the joke was, it was like, I asked his mom about it, it's like, that's a family name. Bitch, that ain't no family name.
No, you is a lie. Like, I don't know what the fuck are we doing now? Sometimes, and I put this in the chat, I weep for my people sometimes. I'm just saying, like, what are we doing out here? DeBrickashaw. Like, he had to play football, because I don't know if he could be a doctor.
Yeah, you ain't got no other choice. You can't be like, Dr. DeBrickashaw? What's going on?
Right, to surgery? We need Dr. DeBrickashaw to surgery. Like, what? Oh, man. Anyways, so 2K25, the gameplay.
What are you even going for with DeBrickashaw? What are you going for?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I like how you came out of nowhere with that.
Yeah, there he is.
Right.
DeBrickashaw Montgomery Ferguson is his name.
It's Craig Montgomery.
You gave that man the second name Montgomery.
Right.
What are you doing?
What? I don't understand. Anyway, I thought the gameplay in 2K25 was okay. I know there's been a lot of chatter about the different shooting modes and stuff, and I didn't mess with anything. I just kind of played with it. How was it default?
Yeah, I played the default, and I did the double dribble method. Like when I reached the arc of my jump, I let go.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly how I play. And I was making shots. Like I missed some, and I could tell when I was going to miss and stuff, but I wasn't really looking at the meter and stuff. But it felt okay.
Can you tell me so?
No. There's not a person named. Oh no, it's a nickname. Kool-Aid. Okay.
So
Quincy isn't much better, mind you.
When you shoot in that game and you get like the green.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it almost feels like the ball gets a magnet, because sometimes the shot totally would have missed, but like a little green dust flies off of it, then it goes in.
Yeah, so
that was weird.
Excellent timing. Excellent timing basically dramatically increases your chances of making a shot. So that's like a perfect release, basically.
But it's just funny how it like
RPGs.
sucks it into the basket.
Yeah, but it's like they've kind of fucked with that this year. So there's not even a consistent green timing, to the point that people are now making tutorials online about what the best custom shot animation to use is to increase your percentage of greens.
Jesus.
It's all the shot stuff is all fucked up right now because
Why?
they tune the. So Ken mentioned that he didn't feel like Space Marine was tuned for single player. This game is 1,000,000% not tuned for single player. It's just not. It's another reason why, in my opinion, it's a travesty that they have tied my career to the online stuff so tightly, because the game is not. It's not built to be played as a single player game. It's completely built from the ground up for the people who are going to spend $200 on microtransactions to play it online, and that hurts the offline play of the game because they're trying to prevent people have been using for years these Zen controller mods to play 2K that basically makes you get a green every time.
I didn't know it
And
was a
so
thing.
they're trying to fuck with the timing on that to try to prevent people from being able to use controller mods online. And it's I don't know. I understand why the game is built for multiplayer, but I wish they would do what some shooters have done and tune the game differently for multiplayer compared to single player, because it just hurts their single player component, which is really the only thing I'm interested in. Yeah. Anyway,
I
already talked the shit out of this game last week, so I'm
No.
much more interested to hear what you guys have to say, because you don't play it every year. So
right.
some of the complaints I have, I'm confident, are because I play the game every year. So I guarantee there's shit that I'm nitpicky about that you guys probably don't even notice because you don't play the game every year.
Well, so you being a person that plays it every year and, is passionate about wanting to see it better, why did they ever move from, because this must have happened when I fell off sports, because I don't even remember this whole needing green to make shot, because I hear my son shouting that shit all the time when he's playing with his friend, green, and I'm like, oh, he got a shot. When did they change it to where it was a meter from where you, because that, like me and Ken was saying, like that was the shit we was right. NBA Live, the early 2Ks, all of that, you release it at the top of your jump. Like you paid attention to how your person was moving. When did they add the meter and stuff, and why do you think that is?
Well, I couldn't tell you the exact.
Like what year?
Yeah, year that they added the meter. But I mean, from my perspective, the emphasis on the meter and the emphasis on greens all started when they really started prioritizing online and
Gotcha.
build
The
this
microtransaction shit.
this player, because the thing about it is the complaint always used to be that there wasn't enough visual hint as to whether or not you were releasing your shot at the right time. And so you had all these complaints that people thought, well, it's just a random number generator behind the scenes deciding whether or not I made the shot. And that's partially true. But when people, you know how it is, when people are playing against other people online, they will bear a lot less of that than they will if they're playing against the computer.
Yeah.
If I'm playing against the computer and I release a shot and it doesn't go in and there's no visual cue telling me that I released it early or released it late or whatever, it's fine. You don't really think about it. It's just a missed shot, right? NBA players miss shots. There's a reason that field goal percentage is usually in the 60s and not the 100 or the 90s, right? But if you're playing online against people and you're missing a whole bunch of shots and they're making a whole bunch of shots, the reaction from a lot of people is going to be, the game is cheating me, right? Unless there's some sort of clear visual indicator as to why
Got
you
you.
missed a shot and somebody else made it.
I got you.
Now, and it's to the point now where you actually have, and this is a credit to the game, but you actually have multiple options for what you want your shot meter to look like, where you want it placed, whether you want it, to the left or right or above or below your player, whether you want it to be so I use the dial meter instead of the arrow, where it's like a circle that closes in on itself. But yeah, there are multiple options for that. No, sorry, the ring is what I use. Dial is the one that looks like a dial, but it like goes from full and circles around to empty.
Gotcha.
Arrow is the default. So yeah, it's I think
that.
all because the game's built around people playing online.
Gotcha.
I can tell you, like, somebody who doesn't play this game, like, this game is so complicated.
Man.
Like, to just play a fucking game of basketball. And I feel like
out play calling. Like, I figured out play calling, and then I pressed one of the bumpers, and like something came up, like I think it was left bumper, and like a mark came up on the court where I guess I was supposed to move, and then like another arrow like shifted out where okay, or that was like, what was that like?
That's play calling. Yeah, you can you can call plays on the floor, and it'll put a circle on the floor where you're supposed to stand, and then it'll show if you're supposed to move, where you're supposed to move to, where your teammates are supposed to move to. If somebody's supposed to set a screen, it'll show you the line on the floor for where the screen's supposed to be set.
That's kind of cool. Okay.
Yeah, play calling works well.
The old one used to do that too, because Okay. Go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry. You were saying
no. I was just saying, like, I think one of the reasons a lot of people got into sports games was like the simplicity of being able to play them, and I'm sure Madden's the same way. Like, I play that hundreds of hours every year. Like, I'm sure if somebody who'd never played a football game jump into that, it's like, well, I just can't play. Like, it would be confusing. Like, Madden's had a terrible time. Like, this year is the first time they made a menu that makes fucking sense. When you get to the main menu, it says "Play Now," franchise. Yeah. Like, that's just like all Madden. It says.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's simplicity. But trust me, their menus in the past were fucking awful. So.
You know what? Go
ahead. The downfall for me, I feel like, has been ever since they moved to the card game microtransaction, create your player to play, 2v2, 3v3, 5v5 against other players online. The game has taken a nosedive in quality. But it doesn't matter because I'm not the target demographic anymore. That's what I keep realizing every time I play this game every year, is that I'm not the person it's being made for anymore. And that's fine.
And it sells like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, real quick. So the Madden thing. So because I played Madden, I meant to ask this because I know, because again, I haven't been watching football. Like I used to play and shit. But did they change how kickoffs work? Because like everybody nobody runs toward the dude.
It's a new rule this year. It's called a dynamic kickoff. So basically, there's a big green zone between the 20 and the end zone line, and if the ball lands there, you have to return it.
Okay.
There's no like if the kicker can get it in that spot, you have to run it back. You can't call like a fair catch or whatever. But they put both of the blocking part like way down the field, and those guys are not allowed to move until the ball hits the ground.
Why? Yeah, that was what was throwing me. I was like, wait, why are everybody? Because I had pads around and stuff. Like, why is everybody not move? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, they're trying to get more returns this year because last year was the lowest it's ever been in the history of the NFL. Like, the return rate on kickoffs was like 22%.
Jesus.
So it was like really low. So this year, from the first, we've only had 1 week so far, but it's already up to 33%. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was like, what the heck? All right, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was 2K. So I'm gonna mess with it some more. I don't hate it. It's a beautiful game. Looks real good. Yeah, the shooting thing that totally makes sense for an online perspective of why they need that meter. But I gotta say, growing up and playing these games online, we never needed a meter to tell. Like if a nigga was making more shots than me, I was like, damn, he just better than me. You know what I mean? Like I never was like, oh, the game is cheating. Like that's man, okay,
Well, especially so again, I feel like a broken record here because it always comes back to this, but the reality is it all comes back to microtransactions because
you're right.
if I spent $150 or $200 on the game and on virtual currency to make a player with a 99 3-point stat, I want to be able to make threes.
You're right.
And so if I'm missing it, I want to know why. And that's why this conversation is blown up on social media about this game, is because they purposely tweaked the game this year, not only to weed out the cheaters, but also because they've said that they don't want unrealistic 3-point percentages anymore, and that people, making 70, 80, 90% of their shots from three isn't what they intended. That they want it to be a much more realistic sort of in that 40 to 50% range from three as a great shooter. So there's a bunch of people pissed because they expect to make 3-point shots if they are a 99 and they get a green, and they're just not always making them.
You know what it reminds me of? Reminds me of all the people complaining about skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like they're just used to dominating.
Yep. And the goal was an admirable goal. The goal was to make the games feel more realistic and make more builds competitive, so that not everybody was a fucking 6'4" or 6'5" point guard with a 99-3 taking shots from outside all the time.
Wow.
They don't want that, but it's going to take some time to get their audience used to that, because that's not the way the game's been.
That's crazy that 2K is literally pay to win. Like,
oh yeah,
Jesus Christ!
Well, it's not even that, Terrence. It's not even that. It's not even pay to win. It's pay to compete, because the reality is there is still skill involved for sure, absolutely 100%. But you can't call it pay to win, because the reality is you're not going online and even competing against anybody unless you have a maxed out player. So if you even want to compete, you have to be at 99 so that you can be on level playing field. That's the thing, is it's not even that people can, pay $200 and have a top rated character that'll dominate everybody else online. They're paying all that money just to get a player that's competitive, because everybody else that they're playing against online is at 99 because they all spent $200. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. That's crazy.
It's the ecosystem around this game is completely busted.
Yes, it is. And the fact that everybody wants to have these unrealistic, 3-point skills or whatever, it just tells me that the children yearn for NBA Street. Like, why have we not brought that back?
The children yearn.
I mean, it's great. I don't know.
What would be ideal, and they'll never do it because it's where they make all their money. What would be ideal is if attributes and stats and everything were only for single player. So the RPG sort of, my players, when I say that, what I mean is stats that you can improve.
I see what you're saying.
Are only for your single player stuff. And online, everybody either plays with NBA pros who have set stats, or you make everybody, pick a position, and the position has set stats. Or one of 5 centers, and the 5 centers have different base stats, for example. But they'll never do that because the whole thing is
Money.
People basically having to pay a couple $100 if they want to be able to play the game online.
Jake from State Farm is not going to be in NBA Street.
He will not. No.
Yeah.
You know what? True. They could put him in there though.
It would be funny if they were robbing him for fucking his shirt. Piece of shit. That should be an option. Jake from State Farm shows up in NBA Street, and you can rob him for everything he's got.
I do not have the State Farm sponsorship yet in my career. I did beat Jake. I do have my polo shirt and my khakis, but I need more pop culture fans to be able to unlock the State Farm sponsorship.
What are we? I'm going to play the I'm going to have to play the single player because I kind of like pieced out after I won the thing, and I was like, damn, I don't want to make a character. I just want to play. Fuck, Jesus. I'm going to have to mess with that because I'm so curious.
I do have enough fans to unlock the Hotels.com sponsorship.
What is happening? Wow. Yeah, it's just advertising. That's all marketing. That's all that game is. Jesus. Okay. I think, let me see. Because I can't talk about so much stuff.
I know one you ain't talked about yet that we need to talk about.
Could you say it? Which one is it?
Funko.
Oh yeah. I was going to end with that one. Yeah, that's my last one. Because we do need to talk about that because I have played that. Okay, so you know what? I have Squirrel with a Gun that I have to review, and I'm gonna keep it P. I totally forgot about it. It got lost in the shuffle of everything, so it's been redeemed, and I'm going to start it today. So I'll talk about that next week. Because
that's how I feel. Like I'll get PR people email me. They're like, "Hey, just checking in. When's the review for this gonna be ready?" I'm like, I didn't even redeem. I didn't redeem the key. Like, oh shit, my bad.
Yep, it's so much stuff. Like, oh my God, there's so many games right now. But yeah, so we'll get to that. But okay, yeah, we can talk about Funko Fusion. So Funko Fusion came out. Funko Fusion came in hot. Like there is some problems with this game. So I'm gonna talk about it.
We should preface this by saying there's a patch coming for this version that we have not gotten yet.
Yes, and I don't know. I thought it was going to come.
The PS5 version is out, but the Xbox patch is being like held up in cert. So
why is it always fucking Xbox, man?
We know they don't answer their developer. Like some shit's going on over there. We'll talk about it in the news, but yeah, Xbox has got some troubles right now.
Yeah, I kind of think some of the developers is because I can't give businesses the benefit of the doubt. At least I kind of think that they would run it how I would run it, or I have ran my departments or whatever. Like you get back to people, but I kind of feel like they just be like, "Who calling? 10 games." Fuck them. Nah, we hold out.
Oh wait, people complaining on Twitter. Let's go answer that email that we put in the folder.
Let's respond to Jim Cat.
Right.
Oh, they don't talk to him anymore. They done got rid of him.
They lost him.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like they did that shit.
Oh, they did. They did for a long time.
Yeah, because like obviously Aaron
and how much spine did Jim Cat have?
No, I mean none. Right. Negative spine.
My man buckled as soon as y'all shit got rocky. Yeah, like,
him.
Bruh.
The only thing I want to hear from him is "I'm sorry" and then a gunshot. Fuck! I cannot stand
Anthony.
that man.
I feel you. All right, listen, Funko Fusion. Okay, so we wait on the patch because Xbox sucks. So at its core, this game, and it's. Am I reviewing this? Yeah, I'm reviewing this.
Yeah.
I got a lot of reviews. I'm telling y'all, I got a lot of reviews. I'm sorry. So at its core, it feels like the old Lego games, the early ones, where you hit every object around and it would give you studs. But in this, it's vinyl that you get. And it's like it comes in different colored varieties, same way kind of like the studs did. You start out and it asks you to pick a world, and it has He-Man, Shaun of the Dead. What am I missing? Jurassic
I'm trying to think. There's only
the Thing. It's
no,
like 4.
It's not the Thing. It's
Oh, it's not. I can't remember.
It's one of the sci-fi space shows. What's one of those?
Oh, Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah,
That was
I couldn't remember which
yeah.
one it was, but yeah, it's one of those, and I forget what because like going through it, like the only one that I really wanted was He-Man. I was like, I want to play He-Man.
Me too. Yep, I picked He-Man.
And then they make
so
you
I
change.
played-
Like I got to pick Orko, and then it's like, well, I want you to change. I'm like, fuck you, I want to play Orko.
Right, and see, because that pissed me off at first, but then I realized that's like the tutorial thing, because that was so weird. It's like, oh, I don't recognize you. Pick the, and they're trying to teach you how to pick characters, but it's like, nigga, you could have said that, because you make it sound like I'm supposed to pick a certain person. Like it's presented very weird. But the whole storyline is Freddy Funko. If you don't know nothing about Funkos, because I used to collect the shits. Freddy Funko is like the red-haired ginger. Well, I guess if you red hair, you are a ginger. But anyway, he has red hair and freckles. And he wears like 50s clothes, whatever. He's like the mascot of Funko. Well,
We apologize to all gingers across the world.
I apologize to all of y'all. Wait, I just said the word. Anyways, you been my train of thought. Okay, you start off in the factory, and basically the evil. Some evil Freddy Funko, who is now named
Which is
Eddie.
just Freddy Funko.
It is. His name is Eddie.
It starts in the Funko factory. Is that where they're producing plastic that's going to end up in landfills?
Or in your balls.
Next to Ken's VR headset.
VR headset. Oh, but yeah, he's like, my name is Eddie. Like, and so you got Freddy and Eddie here. And the whole thing is he's obviously trying to take over.
How can you know they're evil? By their eyes? Oh, wait, they're all dead inside.
Yep. And he's like purple and stuff. So you get sent back to the He-Man land. And as near as I can tell, because I think I have one more level to finish and I've finished this. But I think once you finish one world, like other ones open up for you to start going into, because there's a bunch of different doors and stuff.
It's a big grind fest. Like you're supposed to grind for all the characters and shit, and it's like respect for the licensing of this game. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, for sure.
Like everything is in this game.
I mean, even the Colonel from KFC, you collect buckets of chicken and you can unlock the Colonel apparently, which is crazy. Like, but yeah, it's everything. And I guess not all of them are like they have worlds. Like some of them have side missions, or I forget the word for it, but you have to, and this is what I'm going to get into too. It being so broken. Like you have to find these key cards through a level and you open the door and you unlock this door and you can do like these side missions, which, do like iconic stuff from some of the movies. And in this case, it was, Back to the Future. So the end of the first movie, where he's going back to his time, where at the clock tower and all that jazz. Excuse me. Sorry. But yeah, so I unlocked the door and a pop-up message is like, oh, you unlocked this. I can't think of particularly what it's called, but this little side quest, you can now do this. But the door never opened. Like I walked into the door, I shot the door, I swung my sword at the door never opened. I went to reload the save. I was like, oh, well, maybe it's out in the lobby area. You got to go through there. No, it's not. It's just, this game is so broke. Like, Jesus Christ, cutscenes start off with no audio. I don't know if you've had that experience.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. The first part, like when you in the He-Man area, once they're done with the tutorial and you go out into the world, and you have to protect these 3 towers, and it's like destroy all the enemies in the area. I thought the game was broke right here because it never ended. Like I was like, what? How many do I have to kill? Like they just kept coming, and then at some point, Merman showed up. If you know He-Man, you know that's a villain. Merman popped out of a puddle, and it's like defeat Merman. So now I'm shooting at him, and I'm getting killed, and enemies just keep spawning, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Dude, I did that on the first boss. Like, do you know how long I shot that giant fucking thing before I realized you were supposed to put some shit in a jar?
I did the same thing.
I was like, this guy's gonna die eventually, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Bruh.
Nope.
I don't know. It does not, it's not very clear on the stuff. And what's sad is that it actually could be a lot of fun. But it needs patches to get there. But it feels very much like the early Lego games. Even to the point of where they don't even talk, which I think is a major miss. Especially since the Lego games have evolved to that, and you're trying to kind of take that formula, I don't know why you would go back
I
to,
mean,
you know, grunts and jokes like that. But I don't know.
it
Go ahead.
just feels like you said, this is the early goings of this, and recording. How many characters are in this game?
Too many.
Like
they're.
It's imagine trying to voice all of those.
I guess that. Well then.
I mean, Lego
Okay.
only does it in the cutscenes, right?
Yes.
Like it's not like
Yes.
the characters talk in the game, and I feel like in this game there's just like so many characters.
Yeah, and you know what? They could have done the cutscene stuff though.
Sure.
Even because I mean they had to pay for the licenses, so I mean you probably could have just used the words for. No, because then you probably would have had to pay. I don't know how all that works. I don't know. I don't know. It just feels missed to me. But you're right. There is a shit ton that they would have had to voice.
Like this is the perfect game if you were one of those people that try to collect Funkos, because that's like what this game is all about: grinding
Yep.
to collect Funkos.
And you literally have like a wall of them when you like select through them, like once you get them unlocked.
That's cool. Like it's like a toy shelf. So
yeah, yep. And I kind of peeped. There are some cool ones in there, and like the He-Man thing, like you don't start off as He-Man, you play as like Adam, right? And so there's parts where you have to build this little podium where you turn into He-Man, and it's the whole like he puts the sword in the air, and I have the power of Grayskull. I was hyped as fuck when that happened. I don't know all the issues of this game. Not saying it's because it got a lot of issues, but I was like, damn, it was just for that. It was great. They voiced that, and the music when you turn. Have you turned into He-Man yet?
no, I was playing as Orko and the Man-at-Arms.
Okay, where you're gonna there's parts that's coming up where you have to be He-Man. The rocks
He-Man.
that glow gold. Yep, and they do that. Like once you turn into He-Man, it's the whole 80s theme. He-Man, they're doing that in the background. I was hyped as fuck.
That's
like,
what I'm
He-Man
saying. Like
does
they know how to
500
tickle your nostalgia. They're like, we're gonna do this thing, and you're
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh shit.
Yep, and that's what this is, and that's what I was getting to. Like, because when that happened, I was like, "Oh man, all them problems, I don't even care. Look at this, He-Man. Like this is beautiful." But no, it's got a lot of problems.
Oh, it does. Oh man, the shooting in this game, the shooting in this game is so bad.
It is. And that's where it feels like they kind of took from the latest Lego game, the the Skywalker Saga or whatever.
Dude,
it's called.
I don't know what the
that one
latest
is more
one
of. Well, it's the last Star Wars when they came out that encompassed
Skywalker
all
Saga,
of them.
yep.
Okay. Because it's a third-person shooter. It's basically exactly like Funko Fusion is. So you have the melee hit, you hold the left trigger, and you're aiming down the sights for the characters that have guns. But if you're like a lightsaber person, you're blocking, and then you can throw your lightsaber. So they took that from the newer Lego games and put that in this. But the shooting in this is bad. I mean, the sound
really
effects
bad.
and stuff
It's
is cool because it's the little laser sounds because you're He-Man. You're in the He-Man world. But
He-Man.
God dang it. The shooting is awful. Like the being able to line up the shots is bad because there's puzzles where you have to shoot little crystals. And some of them are timed. So you'll have to hit this one and go over to this one and then go down to this one. I had to do a couple of them like 4 different times because the sensitivity never feels right. Like it's always slightly off and there's like no aim assist to make it hit, even though I'm like not exactly on the point. I don't know. Hopefully that's all the shit that they're going to fix with the patch. Because right now I can't recommend. I just wait. There's some good points, but the overall package right now is too broken to recommend anybody buying for real. Like so, hopefully we get that patch out. I'm going to wait for my review until after the patch. But yeah, and then that's it. That's all I can talk about right now. Again, next week I'm super excited to talk about some shit. So, but yeah, that's it for me.
All right, Wombat, show us what you got.
Yeah, I mean, not a ton here to talk about that we haven't already beat to death. I have what I've played probably more than anything is Vampire Survivors.
I mean, that's a good week.
It's a great week. The game is tremendous. I played a lot more 2K. I've beat that to death. The only other thing that I'll mention is that I did play the W, which is the WNBA version of the career mode. And just like last year, it's pretty bare bones compared to the regular NBA career mode, which feels like a real missed opportunity considering the WNBA is exploded in popularity this year. Um, I'm sure next year they'll invest some more resources after they've seen what's happened with the, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and just sort of how the league has taken a step forward in popularity. But it's pretty bare bones, to the point that I couldn't even figure out if I could, or if so, how to adjust my players' attributes. I don't know that you can in the
Oh, damn.
WNBA version of it. You definitely can't. So in the regular My Career, you can customize what your max attributes are by attribute. You can't do that in the WNBA version. You can only basically pick a preset set of caps. So it's pretty, like I said, pretty bare boned. It doesn't have any of the sort of off the court intrigue stuff that the main career mode has. So I mean, it's cool that the WNBA stuff is even here. But it's definitely kind of an afterthought in the overall package. So hopefully they'll work on that for next year. I checked out my team as well, and I am always honest about this in my reviews. I can't stand the fucking card shit. There's nothing here that's different enough for somebody like me who doesn't give a shit about the card stuff to invest any time, energy, or effort in it. It's the same kind of pick starter packs and build your teams and do ladders and unlock new packs with new players in them. And it's just, I could not, my eyes glaze over as soon as I start talking about card shit in any of these games. What else did I play? I played some more Star Wars Outlaws. The game is better.
That patch finally came out, so.
Have you gotten
I'm not really worried about the
yet?
patch. I have the ability to go to space. I have not gone to space because I got, hey, here's where the 3 key cards are to open this vault. And so I started chasing down the key cards, and then I got more key cards to chase down. And here's what I'm going to say about that game is there are some genuinely cool Star Wars things in this game. Like it is genuinely objectively fun to be flying around on a speeder bike, shooting laser guns at people, and the Empire are the police, right? So when your wanted level goes up, it's you got Empire folks that are chasing you, right? You've got Imperial stormtroopers that are chasing you. It's there. They nailed sort of the music and the sound design and the visual design of the game to make you feel like you're in Star Wars, which is all super cool. What I find is that all that in between stuff is neat and interesting, and when it's time to actually do a mission, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. That's how I felt.
Like, oh, I gotta sneak through this fucking thing and try to not be seen, or try to eliminate these guards so that I can sneak into this thing, so I can open this panel and shoot this thing and have my little monster Stitch from Lilo and Stitch steal this specific thing from this specific enemy, and it's like, I want to do this. Which is making the game a real slog to play. It's tough to invest in continuing to play the game when I don't enjoy the core gameplay loop at all. And so I'm still playing it. I intend to still play it. But man, the core gameplay is just such a slog to me. It's just not that fun. Like I did the mission where you have to sneak into that wind tunnel thing.
Oh, Christ.
and I'm like, this is not fun.
Okay,
like
okay.
it's like some platforming that's not great, and some, hey, hang on this until this fan stops blowing, and then
Yeah.
climb across. It's like, it's just not. It's like they took the least fun stuff from Assassin's Creed and Metal Gear Solid and Tenchu, and they were like, let's just make an entire game out of the least fun parts of this.
Well, and you know what else is that the parkour and stuff, because that's what I was constantly thinking when I played it, is that it's so much better in Assassin's Creed. Like, why didn't you just bring that over?
Yeah,
like,
I
jumping
don't
from
really
yellow.
understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, this
Watch
game.
Dogs, as a Watch Dogs fan, let me tell you, they never brought that parkour anywhere.
They did not.
else.
No, they did not.
Like, this game is like, there's a reason it took me over a month to review it. Like, it's so hard to make myself play this game.
It's a slog for sure. It's like, so imagine a game where, there have been a ton of games over the years where it's like, I play, you spend a couple missions. Well, here's an example. The first Spider-Man on PlayStation 4. Imagine an entire game of the Mary Jane segments.
Oh,
Where
Jesus
and
Christ.
listen, I enjoyed those segments because I thought they broke up the game, and I thought they added a neat a neat mechanic that is present in the Spider-Man comics but not necessarily always present in the Spider-Man games, where it's like there are other people around Spider-Man that are helping him do things.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't want to play a whole game of Mary Jane sneaking around a warehouse and getting killed in a shot or two. And that's what they've built here. They've built an entire game where you have this sort of fragile main character who sneaks around, and as soon as it's guns blazing, you are just fucked, basically.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to win gunfights in this game.
Especially if there's if you're trying to win a gunfight against two people, yeah, you can use some of the stuff that you have, but if it's more than that, you're basically just done. Because unlike stormtroopers in the movies, the enemies in this game can shoot,
Man,
and can aim.
Fucking
and
yes.
They will just shoot your ass from halfway across the map, and you're just dead.
Wait till
They
they start
pay
lobbing
attention.
them grenades from like every other enemy.
You know what's funny? It's not even funny. I love, this is why I love this show so much, because, and this is a perfect example, we have a game where we have just different opinions, because you both just agree that it's a slog, and I disagree, but I think it's because, and I was thinking while you were talking, if this was truly the case, and I think it is. I think I'm a bigger Star Wars fan than either of you. And
I might question that one.
Really?
I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
Okay. Because I definitely feel every single pain point you said.
Name 5 jizz musicians.
Okay, see, if Ken can do that, yeah, he wins, because I definitely can't.
I think I used to know one of them because he was a figure, but I couldn't.
Max Grebo.
It's not Max Rebo. Max Rebo was Jabba's.
He was, I do know. That was Jabba.
He's a jizz musician.
He's still playing.
He still plays well, yeah, but I thought you were referring to the fucking Cantina peoples.
I'm on StarWars.fandom.com, and they say he's an Ortolan jizz whaler.
I mean, this checks out.
Star Wars. I fucking
wow. Anyway, I feel all the pain points. Stormtroopers shoot like fucking snipers. Like these stormtroopers paid attention in training.
Yes.
The gunfights and stuff are incredibly difficult early on, and I don't even know if you know this, because I didn't for a minute. You have grenades and stuff too, but you have to hold the left D-pad for some fucking reason to
open your satchel.
Who does that? That shit, like that type of stuff pissed me off. And like the fan thing, like the jump into the yellow, like different. And it's so funny that yellow is now the sign of of where you need to go. And I'm trying to remember like if that was always the case, like back in the day. I don't think it was, but
Mad Max used it.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. It was Yellow and Mad Max. You're right.
Horizon. Everything was Horizon, or everything was yellow and Horizon that you could climb on.
Okay. Yeah. So
I want to say probably it started with Mirror's Edge, where everything that was interactable was red.
Yep, I remember that.
I think it started before then.
It might have. I'm just saying that's the earliest I can go to where I'm.
We have to look that up.
Colors.
But yeah, so that type of like I feel but like even like when you talk about having to do like the stealth only missions and stuff like that, like I absolutely hated it, and I failed a lot of times. Like I told y'all, that ending bit is a bitch, which now it's been patched, so hopefully y'all don't have to experience what I did if you end up finishing it. But like I don't know, I was just like, you know what? Yep, that's them's the breaks, but okay, I'm going to do this because I liked the character. I liked, like you were talking about, I liked the world. Like it does some really good Star Wars stuff, and like being able to be in the Star Wars world, which I wish they would tell more stories like this in the movies and TV shows, and not be a Jedi, but see just like normal life. You know what I mean? Like Kay is just out here trying to make it. Right? Like, and she is a smuggler now, and now she pitting different factions, and by happenstance, she's now with this heist, and now she rubbing elbows with Lando at the Cybok tournaments and shit. Like it's a lot of cool shit.
When the game leans into all that stuff,
it's amazing.
It's enjoyable as a Star Wars fan to see, and like I said, it does a fantastic job of capturing the universe. Mm-hmm. I just can't stand the core game mechanics.
Yeah, that's the same way. Like when exactly what Wombat said. Every time they were like, "You got to go sneak in this place," I'm like, "Fuck."
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's I'm trying to think of how I want to describe it. It doesn't even, like, as a stealth game, it doesn't even give you sort of the core tools that you come to expect out of stealth games, where, like, you come to kind of expect out of a stealth game that you're going to be able to know where the enemy's vision cones are, right?
Yeah.
And that's just not there. Maybe you get some sort of power or something.
You don't, like, it's crazy how like some of them will see you from a distance where another one won't.
Yeah, it's just broke. That's part of that's broke.
And that makes
highlight stuff for you if you hold up. But
when your focus of your game is stealth and you do that part wrong, that's a problem.
You're right. Yeah, you 100%. Like
Splinter Cell Blacklist was right there.
Right.
That shit was perfect. Like that's what you do.
They don't talk to each other. Those studios don't talk.
They should.
They can't share notes apparently, because like there would be so much more crossover, like because it's wild that there's stuff that is better in this game from the niggas that's down the street making it, and y'all in the same company, but y'all fucking it's weird. But no,
and like even if you think back to the origins of that genre, so even a game like Thief, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even a game like Thief had the concept of darkness and shadows, and it being harder to see you if you're in the darkness, or if you're, eliminating light sources to make it easier to sneak. None of that is here. It's just not here. No. You just, the sneak mechanic in this game is I crouch and walk behind what I hope and assume is cover tall enough that they can't see me behind it.
I'm having flashbacks to Dark.
You
should never have flashbacks to that game.
At one point, I realized too late that I was behind a wall that the enemies could see me through, and like the wall had slats in it.
Mm-hmm.
But so I should have probably assumed that they could see me through it. But they couldn't at first, and then all of a sudden, another part of the wall that didn't look that much visually dissimilar, they could see me through it. So I don't know. I just feel like it's like they couldn't decide if they wanted to make an action game or a stealth game, so they made an actual action game with stealth components, and then decided that the stealth components would be every mission.
I still can't
And-
believe how many insta-fail missions there are. That just drives me crazy.
Well, they've changed that now, right?
No, I
There's-
mean there's still some. Like I did one this weekend where not only is it insta-fail, but I didn't realize until I snuck up on somebody that there are some enemies you can't knock out.
Oh, you must be in Tatooine. Yeah, the Gamorrean guards.
Yeah, you can't knock them
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah, you have to. There's an upgrade for that. You have to use a shock
cool.
prop because
they
because
didn't tell
there's
me that.
droids. Yeah, and that is a downfall of this game is that it doesn't explain a lot of this stuff because when I realized I was like, what the fuck? But like when you get close to them, it says like you need something else.
Yeah, but I was already in my animation.
I got you. Yeah, 100%. I will tell both of you this, and anybody else that's listening and playing this. I think what made me, and this is why I enjoyed it more. Once I realized that the stealth was, I guess it's mandatory, but it's not. Like I did what I call aggressive stealth missions. So in every area, there's a panel where they can sound the alarm.
Yep.
You can send Nix to sabotage that, and then you can kill every motherfucker in the room and then move on to the next one. You don't even have to do the stealth stuff. But then there are ones where you can't like kill people, but you can knock them out. You use your stealth, like your left bumper button, like your stun thing. And then later there's an ability, and because I didn't do this till later, but I highly recommend, especially if you hate this stealth stuff, get this, the fast talk ability.
Oh yeah,
where if you get,
yeah, I have
almost immediately I had that unlocked.
okay, good. Yeah. Cause like you just walk toward them like, hey man, look, my bad, do on some Axel Foley shit and then just knock them out. You just punch them, do your stuff and knock them down. Don't try to play it like you would Splinter Cell or something like that. Play it aggressively. Like just be like, okay, yep, I gotta do this sneakily. How can I sneakily take this nigga out and the rest of them? Like play it like that, and I think you'll have a better time. I think maybe that's what.
That's how I play those games because when I play a stealth game, my anxiety is like, let me knock all these people out so I can just not worry about it.
Got you. See, yeah, that's usually how I like to play it.
But
yeah.
then like you have like the bad stealth parts of this game where like you do that and like some dude sees you out of the corner of his back eye.
That can happen. Yep. Yep. Like you had cleared the whole room and like one guy you didn't see is like, huh? And you're like, ah, shit.
Well, unless I'm missing something, there's no button to like drag to hide a body.
Nope.
There's not.
If you knock somebody out. So
That's
again,
where-
it's
yeah.
like it's like they wanted to make a stealth game, but they didn't include any of the like core stealth game mechanics.
Yep.
So it's just it feels like an action game that has everybody gets pissed off when an action game has a stealth mission. This is an entire game full of action game stealth missions.
Yep.
Dude, and it's so inconsistent.
Left Alive.
Again, you're pulling up shit nobody should play, Anthony.
You're right, and that's a problem. If you talking about a game reminds me of Left Alive and Dark, that sounds like there's some problem.
Well, so my plan is still to play the game because I like Star Wars enough that I want to play. I want to play this game because the story is neat and the settings are neat and the characters are neat, but it is, man, it's going to take me a while. I may have to cancel my Ubisoft Plus and just buy it when it's super cheap to finish it at some point.
It'll be super cheap real soon.
Yeah, because I'm going to do that because I want to do some of the side stuff. I would also say, because I know, because this was hard for me and I'm sure it's hard for you, don't get bogged down by a lot of the side stuff. Just do the main narrative. Because you'll unlock a lot of stuff and you'll be able to see a lot of the story beats, well, all the story beats, obviously, and experience that. And then you can come back to the side stuff later. Like there are some upgrades that are cool, like, because you're going to run into people, but like you'll get, if you follow the story missions, it'll direct you to unlock all the people that can help you with different stuff. That gives you like the unlocks to the ship upgrades and like your guns and all that jazz.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a simple thing. Like another thing that they messed up was like, that journal is a mess.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because like it's like the very top thing is like the main quest, but then you have to scroll through like the subcategories to unlock like your contracts and then like your the like submissions that you hear. I forget what they're called. Like that's not legends, but like you'll hear different stuff out. Like the journal is a mess. Like it, and I like I said, 100% feel all y'all's pain points. Like it's a strong 7. I don't know. I guess I just kind of slogged through it because I was like, damn, Oh, I like Star Wars.
Yeah, I think the theme of my review was like, when this thing hits, it hits hard, but when it trips, it falls down an entire flight of stairs.
For facts, 100% facts. And because I know Ryan ain't been spoiled. I can't wait till he gets deeper in the story. So I'm be like, how'd you like that?
I'm gonna to continue playing it just because there have been very few Star Wars games that I haven't played and finished, so I feel like I owe it to the fandom to play it. So,
Did you finish Terra Kasai?
I did.
Don't even think it's possible to finish that outside of the arcade story.
You finished the story like Vader.
Yeah,
Vader's the cheapest boss on the planet, but I beat that game.
Absolutely. I did too. Yeah.
Doesn't mean it doesn't suck. It sucks real bad.
No, it's awful. God.
Oh yeah, it's one of the worst.
So bad.
I love how the game is Masters of Terra Kasai, which is like the like Iron Fist thing. Like everybody else got guns.
Yep.
Cool game. Cool game.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
Let me think for a second, because there actually may be something else that I played that I'm just forgetting. No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, I'll go through quick. We've covered a lot of the stuff I was going to talk about, so that's good. But I want to give an update on a couple of things. So Astrobot, I got my second platinum on the PlayStation. Like, that's only my second platinum.
Wow.
And both of them are Astrobot games.
That's funny. That's awesome, though.
That game is amazing. It'll be at the top of my list at the end of this year. Like, it's so funny how when that game first came out and, like, people were talking about it, everybody was like, Game of the Year. And, like, within a week, everybody's like, what are you talking about? This ain't Game of the Year. Like, I love video game discourse. So funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's always the way it is. Everything is 10 out of 10, best game ever. No game should ever try to compete with this game ever, and then 2 weeks later it's the worst game that's ever been created, and eventually the discourse settles into what the game actually is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's impossible to keep up with mainstream sentiment of any game, because it's just like so bipolar.
Yeah, and it works in reverse. Like, this game is terrible, and then a year later it's like, God, what an underrated gem.
Yep.
Okay. Whatever, guys. No, I loved Astrobot. I really wanted to do everything, and then when they do some more levels, I will definitely be coming back for that. It's so fun. Like, I know the biggest discourse on this game, because, the fanboy shit out there, like, this game is only 6 hours. Man, I 100%ed it, and it took me 19 hours. Like, I guess if you ran through every level... Well, like, who plays games like that?
Like, why are you playing like that? Right.
I'm gonna bring up a game that's been in the conversation of Astrobot, Days Gone. A game that I thought was good, except that, like...
It never ended?
It was too much.
Yeah, I remember playing that game, and I thought I was about to finish it, and then it's like, oh no, there's a whole nother fucking area.
It's the same thing that happens with, like, a lot of open world games, although I think it's most obvious in Days Gone. Everything that people complain about tells me that Astrobot should be their jam, and then they complain that it's short. It's like, well, maybe you don't like fucking video games.
I think that's just the answer to a lot of these people's problems. Is that they just don't like video games. At least not like straight linear or like just video games. Like you want to play like some fucking bloated 150, 200 hour thing that 100 hours of it is not very fun kind of thing. I don't know, man. People are weird. People find everything to argue about. But no, I platinumed that. I loved it. I did get to check out that Lollipop Chainsaw remaster.
I'm sorry.
It's very buggy.
Oh, was it bad?
It's pretty buggy. Like, I like the original game just fine.
Yeah, I did.
I can tell you this game is loud as fuck. So, I've been testing a new soundbar, and it's really loud. Like, this soundbar is very, very loud. Like, on my old soundbar, I'd usually keep the volume about 10. That's a good volume. On this new one, I have to keep it at about 5. For good volume, I had to turn the Lollipop Chainsaw down to 1.
Jesus.
This game is so loud. I need to boot up the 360 version. I think I still have it. Because this game feels smoother than the original did. Like, the original kind of felt clunky at times. So I need to boot that. I started the intro in both the regular and repop mode, because there's 2 modes. I don't know what the difference is. Like, I didn't...
One of them's repopped.
Well, I understand it, but what does that mean?
Well, it's supposed to be.
Well, it's like when you pop something and then pop it again.
Okay.
No, you unpop something and then pop it again.
What? Okay, so what he's saying is facts, but I thought the difference was one is the original gore level, and the repop is like censored. So it's basically censored and uncensored.
That's what I thought too, but I booted it up, and both times when I cut off the zombies' heads, it was sparkle stars.
Okay, well maybe that's part of it being broke. I wonder.
I really don't know.
That sucks if that's the case, because what the heck?
Yeah, I don't know. Also, this thing is $45.
I didn't know that. I thought it was. I thought it came out at $30.
Nope, it's $45. It's on sale right now for like 10% off or something, so it's like $49 or whatever. But yeah, it's $45. It ain't worth $45. I will tell you that.
Don't sound like it.
Some other indie games I got to check out. Yars Rising, which is a sequel to Yars Revenge, but it's a Metroidvania made by Way Forward, and that's a lot of sentences. Like,
Definitely is.
It's a weird. It's got a really cool like cartoon style to the characters. Like the controls are a little stiff. I don't know. I kind of dig it, but at the same time I kind of don't, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'll tell you a game I love, though. I love this game on Switch, and they released a new version of it. It's called Grapple Dogs. Cosmic Canines is the subtitle for this one.
It's a sequel. Yeah.
Oh, it's a sequel. I thought it was like a upgraded version. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's a sequel.
It's really good. Like, if you've never played Grapple Dogs, that game is fun. It's essentially like a 2D platformer, but you get this grappling hook that's really well done. And I really, really enjoy it. So I definitely recommend that one. There was 2 games
it's a sequel.
Okay, cool.
It also looks like a Game Boy Advance. Well, the first one does, anyways. Looks like a Game Boy Advance game almost.
Yeah, this one's the same kind of art style.
How is it? Okay.
2 games I couldn't play because you can't invert your controls are Customers from Hell and Unholy. Like, one of them's like a first-person like horror game where you don't have combat, so pretty standard stuff. The other one is a horde mode where people are trying to get in your store and you shoot them in the face to keep them from coming in your store. Yeah. Whatever. What else did I play? Oh, I couldn't also play Kiki, a vibrant 3D platformer, because it also would not allow you to invert controls. So I can't play your game if you do that. And then we talked about Warhammer. We talked about NBA. I did put up my review this week for Marvel vs. Capcom Collection. It's really good. I don't know what else you want me to say about it. Like, those games are back. They're good. The online is good.
Did it take you for a ride? Ha 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 ha.
I mean, that song's in there.
Wow. I'm excited for it to come to Xbox.
You know what's funny? I got to tell this story. So I saw this on Twitter yesterday. So, you know how people have been clamoring for this game to come back, right? Well, a lot of the like content creators that have been like championing this to come back are playing online, and it's causing people to refund the game because it's not any fun to play against them.
This is my problem with all this shit. Always these loud people. Oh no, this game's really good. Yeah, because you've been playing it nonstop, and then you go online and kill any momentum of it.
Yeah, so apparently Justin Wong's been out there dominating the leaderboards and just destroying people on every platform. And people on Steam started refunding it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to play against him. Like, hell no.
Like, there's literally comments in the Steam store that say, like, if you run into this guy online, this is why I refunded it. Because he did a combo on me that I was able to go make a sandwich before it finished.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's exactly why these games aren't fun. It's because you're like, oh, you should get into this scene. Let me play against... It's like, I don't know if any of y'all have ever played against Jay in a fighting game.
No, I won't.
You can put the controller down.
Yeah, nah. I play the only time I play them fighting games because I don't even play online. Like we play at like family functions, so it's like we playing with like cousins and uncles and stuff like that. Like, nah, I'm cool with y'all niggas online that are killers for real. Like and
Yeah.
Jay, nah.
Yeah, I played
I'm good.
against him in Guilty Gear once. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
That was not fun for me. And then the last game, I haven't like really got through this game entirely, but there's a new China Project game on PlayStation 5 that came out this week called Evo Tinction. It's a weird game. It's a weird name. It's also a weird game. It's basically a strategic stealth game with like deep hacking mechanics. Imagine if Splinter Cell and Dead Space had a baby. So like the aesthetic is kind of Dead Space. You're in space, kind of like with a similar suit. You got kind of like a laser gun that you shoot, but it's not like horror. Like there's no monsters. It's just people, and then you sneak around and you hack stuff. It's like Star Wars. It's like the most aggressive 7. Like there's nothing offensive about it, but there's also nothing that like makes it stand out. It's really well produced. Like the graphics look good. It runs well. It's got decent voice acting. It's got solid stealth mechanics, unlike Star Wars Outlaws. But it just doesn't do anything that like really draws you into it. So like if you played it, if you got it for free, you'd be like, "Oh, this is pretty good." Like if you paid for it like $70, you'd be like, "Well, I don't really think that was worth." It's one of those games.
Gotcha.
So it's good. The name is like terrible. Like what the fuck is Evo Tinction even mean?
Evo Tinction.
It's a very good question.
Like I don't know what that's supposed to like. What? It's like you're combining two words that shouldn't be combined? I don't know. Whatever. That's it. That's a lot of the stuff I've been playing. Do I have any embargo? Yeah, I do have an embargo for Iron Meat, which I think I can talk about next week.
What?
That's that game I told you about in the Discord?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about it on the podcast because I looked it up.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm playing that.
Oh yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
I'm on these. Iron Meat is a run and gun arcade shooter that immerses players in in an apocalyptic future overrun by the meat.
Indeed.
It looks. I can't say anything for certain, but it sure does look like Contra.
Huh.
Nice.
I'll tell you about that next week. Speaking of next week, we have our releases for this week. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, Mask of Darkness. That's the first story DLC, I believe.
Nice. I'm curious how that's going to work.
Yeah.
On how that ended.
I wonder. I don't remember if we got the deluxe version, so I don't even know if we get that for free. I don't remember. Seed of Life, The Plucky Squire, which I'm super stoked to play. I have not played that at all yet. So, Train Sim World 5, A Night at the Farm, Key Locker, The Last Shot, Between Horizons, Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars Reforged, Bite the Bullet, the game we keep joking about in the Discord, Cricket, Jay's Really Peculiar Game. Jay's making a game. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, which I found it very.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's out there. I found it very funny that if like they made a special edition, like the big boy versions of this game, it's called Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster Deluxe. So
okay.
Yeah, we don't have that game yet. Like I requested it, but we don't have it yet. The House of Da Vinci 3, EA Sports Football Club 25 Ultimate Edition, Fast Penguin. There's like 4 A's in the title, so.
Wow.
Home Safety Hotline. Here's a game I didn't even know was coming out, which is Matchbox Driving Adventures. I used to love like Micro Machines and shit like that.
Micro Machines racing games were awesome.
Yeah, so I'm interested in this, but then I saw who's making it.
Outright?
Yes.
Game Mill?
It's Outright. They're publishing it, but it's being made by
Hold
a
on,
company.
what's the game?
Matchbox Driving Adventures, like old Matchbox cars.
Yeah, I know that part. I knew the Matchbox. I wanted to get the rest of it so I could look it up.
Yeah. Mind Seas. How often do you get 2 sequels to a game in 1 week? We get Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 and Poppy Playtime Chapter 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I like the first one. I'm not going to lie, that game is cool.
What is it?
It's like a first-person horror
like a
puzzle
Five Nights
game.
at Freddy's
Yeah, that kind of.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except you get like these gloves that you can like grab shit with. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
And then the Karate Kid Street Rumble.
Yeah, I saw that. Is this just a side scroller beat 'em up? Because I saw Mr.
Yes.
Miyagi is apparently in it.
Yes.
And that's crazy, but all
Is
right.
this the one where you can shoot fireballs and shit, or did that one already come out?
They've
That was
already
the one
made
connected
2
to
of
Cobra
those.
Kai, right?
Yeah, that was the Cobra Kai one, because I have the sequel to that one, because the girl has ice powers, and then the dude on
Sure.
Cobra Kai has fireballs.
Sure, why not? That's fine.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that Matchbox game ain't great.
Yeah, I mean, when you're published by Outright Games, yeah.
Well, they had that DC game, and so I was like, okay, let's take a look. I don't know, it looks fine. It doesn't look bad. It looks very generic, which is disappointing. Like they're just racing in normal environments.
That's not fun.
That's not Matchbox.
Yeah, race them in the like
No.
kitchen sink or some shit.
Matchbox. Wow, and now I'm gonna feel old. Matchbox is because the cars used to be able to fit in a matchbox.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they have
A matchbox was a thing that matches in it.
Yeah, the kids even know what a matchbox is anymore.
But
The,
sorry.
no, I was just gonna say that they should do a new Micro Machines racing game, but I don't even know. Do they make Micro
Wombat,
Machines anymore?
They did.
Oh, did they?
It was really bad.
Like where you're racing through the bubble bath and
Yep.
stuff in little boats?
It was really bad.
Oh,
That
that sucks.
Yeah.
So here's a weird thing about this. So I looked up Matchbox Driving Adventures. There's so in Europe, I guess Bandai Namco is publishing it.
Oh, that sounds
So it's
familiar.
got Souls elements, is what you're telling me.
Developed by Casual Brothers,
Yeah, that's the developer.
which I have questions about name-wise. Also, really great. I click on the link to their website. It says under construction, and it looks like an AI image.
Cool.
Oh, good.
Cool.
Yeah. Real-world scenarios: extinguish fires, complete deliveries, or make airport drop-offs. Explore 6 epic locations in city center, beach, mountains, Arctic, jungle, and volcano. Couldn't even name them. I love that. Unlock new vehicles, complete missions in explore and adventure mode, or compete in competition mode. I'll probably end up fucking buying this when it's $5. I know better.
Oh, sure. $5? 100%.
Matchbox got to try to find a way to compete with Hot Wheels however they can. So
Hot
They
Wheels
own
got
by
that
the
Forza
same
money.
company.
So
Yeah, they do.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Mattel owns both of them. They ain't competing.
do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Mattel probably bought it out at some point because like Matchbox was like what back in the day we call like the poor kid cars.
Yep.
You couldn't get Hot Wheels. You had to get Matchbox. Like motherfucker, it's like $1 car. Shut up.
Right.
Yours was $1.50. You're so much richer
like
than
that.
me.
does anybody remember the generic GI Joes that were called the Core?
Oh god, I remember
I
GoBots,
do
which is
remember
the generic
Core.
Transformers, but I don't remember the GI Joe ones.
I remember go.
Oh
by.
yeah, I used to have several of the Core. They were a dollar general special.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Hold on, I'll see if I can find
And
some.
and because back then, your friends ain't shit. They'd always call you out. What you got that? That ain't no GI Joe. You trying to play it off? That's like that episode of South Park when Cartman was trying to pretend he had an iPad and he taped some glass to the back of something.
Oh yeah. I mean, and those guys grew up in that time, so they know exactly what that shit was happening. It's like when you got your shoes from Kmart or some shit.
Yep.
Make fun of you.
Oh man.
Bootleg Transformers was my thing. Bootleg Transformers and
GoBots, baby.
And bootleg. No.
Ryan, I had those. I had those figures.
GoBots were too high for. Well, they were gone by the time, but they would have been too expensive. No, I mean like dollar store transforming toys.
Oh, I found GoBots at Odd Lots. So there's probably other ones for sure.
We did not have. I did not have those in the 90s. Let's put it that way.
The nice thing about the core is they would sell them in these giant packages, so you could have like a whole bunch of dudes super cheap.
Boy, that one on the bottom, 4 over. Yeah. Whew.
Yeah.
That was a different time.
It definitely was.
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. No, I remember these now. I remember the dude with the hat. Like the Australian hat. Yeah, I remember that dude. I totally had these. All right. PlayStation 5 has a couple different games. We've also got Intoria, The Last Song, which was that game that caused the email to ID at Xbox. So that Xbox version is coming, but it's like a week later or something. A World of Outlaws, Dirt Racing 24, always everybody's favorite. And
I love that you got more southern when you said that.
I heard that
World
too.
of Outlaws.
Your voice had a little bit of twang when you said World of Outlaws.
You know, around these parts, you get a little twang every now and then.
That's right. We are near to Kentucky after all.
Yeah, this is true.
Terrence is more near to Kentucky than any of the rest of us.
Yeah,
that's true. He could probably throw a stone and hit Kentucky from where he's at.
I can, yeah.
And then Learn to Play Volume 6 Labyrinth. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. There is a big game out this week. Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Oh yeah,
I forgot that was this week. Yeah, until I saw some Twitter advertising for a special edition with like extra costumes and stuff. I'm like, why are they advertising? Like, is this what Twitter's come to? We're advertising year and a half old games now. And then I realized that it was coming out on the last gen systems. So
it's such a weird. We'll talk about this when we talk about PS5 Pro. But this generation is very weird.
It is very weird.
Toho Genso Wanderer Foresight. That's another game that's coming out on PS4 this week. And then Xbox One, it's nothing. It's all the same stuff. So let's take a look at the Switch real quick, because the Switch is always fun to look at. We got Mech Wars, Supermarket 3D Tycoon Business Simulator, which is spelled wrong here on this list. Dare to Spread.
Is the actual game spelled wrong, or is it just the list that's spelled wrong?
No, on the list it's spelled business as in BUISNESS. Business. We got that business. We got that business.
What's the full name of it?
Supermarket 3D Tycoon Business Simulator.
The business.
We got the business. Dare to Spread. Army turn-based. I did not expect that second part.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm good without Dare to Spread.
Yeah.
Get in the car, loser.
Okay.
What else?
Okay, no, I need to stop the podcast. Look, I need someone to look at these. Look at this.
What are we looking at?
Look at this.
What?
Stop! Somebody see this?
That dude is like giving me the death stare. What is happening?
Bro, Jesus!
I just can't.
Wheat flour.
What the fuck?
He's serious about his shopping.
This motherfucker's like, you best give me the
The
best
people
price.
staring into the void is something else.
What is dude staring out on the floor?
Hi.
Don't worry though, this is definitely not AI made fucking art cover.
Hey, at least it's spelled right here.
What is that he's checking out with?
Magic.
Is that supposed to be an ice cream? I think Poppy ice cream. Popply ice cream.
It's my favorite brand.
I always check out, when I check out with books, I always stand them upright on the
that's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what is wrong with this? Video games are weird. A Night on the Farm. What else we got here? Atama, Aura of Worlds, Block Doku. There's a game called Bzz.
Okay.
City Driver Police Parking Simulator. What are we doing?
What in the world?
Desktop Dodgeball, Coloring Pixels Collection 4. Our favorite game every week, Egg Console Star Cruiser PC 8801 MK2 SR. I love these games every week. Ginka,
Boogaloo.
Heavy Hand, Pixel Tree Forest Fury, Hidden Cats in Berlin, Highway Legends, the Traffic Speed Racer, Hunt and Fight Action RPG. I got isekai'd into a shmup.
What?
I'm just gonna go. Japanese rail sim, Hakone Town of Natural Beauty and Hot Springs. Lottlenaut.
I love the Switch
Lottlenaut.
releases.
Lottlenaut.
I love them. What the hell?
Lumba Redux. Moonless Moon.
Okay.
Lottlenaut is where is a 3D game where you go underwater and clean up.
Okay.
Pretty sure I have it on Steam. What is Ryan laughing at?
I'm
Sorry,
just going to
what's the last
tell
one?
you that Moonless Moon sounds like the most made-up game title of all time. Like if you were on South Park or something trying to make up the name of a Japanese RPG, Moonless Moon is the first thing that you would come up with.
My favorite. It's my favorite game. No Case Should Remain Unsolved. Pixel Game Maker Series Nyan X Tech. Nyan. Sinister Mansion. Tamago Neko. So I got to be careful with these pronunciations of some of these words.
Neko means cat.
Okay. It's all one word, so. That time I got reincarnated as a slime, Isekai Chronicles DLC 3 Martial Arts Tournament. The Town of Ni. They Came from the Sky 2. Season Spree. Jump, Dodge, Die, Repeat. And Farm It. Farm It. That's it. That's all I got. Alright, let's talk about some news. Whew. Xbox news first. We got a few rakes in here. We've got Xbox launched their new Xbox Game Pass tier, which apparently took away games like Starfield and Diablo.
Oh.
So yeah, how about that? Do you need
Well,
another?
that's fun.
Do you need another tier of Xbox Game Pass? Oh my god!
Can I just get the tier that allows me to fucking forget about all this shit for the rest of my life?
It's called Ultimate. Just get that one.
Is that the one?
That's the one. Just give them that $20 a month. According
Can I get the
Just-
tier of Game Pass that allows me to go back in time to 40 years ago and never play a video game?
Man.
Spend my time doing something productive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just find something else to rot your
You can
brain
just
with.
say you can just say you really hate this podcast. It's okay.
I fucking hate this show. Can you save that clip?
By the way, I'm as y'all are talking about something I'm not engaging with. I'm scrolling through my phone, and this is just this is so sad. This is how sad baseball has become in Canada. They're like, "Hey guys, you like cricket? Why don't you come see the Blue Jays?"
Wow.
I swear to
Okay.
God,
Trying to draw from the cricket demographic. Huh?
Yeah,
I
that's
know. I
crazy.
know that we have. Like Canada has the highest population of Indians next to India. Like
Yeah.
I understand that, but like they're very different sports.
Cricket, very, very popular in India. Cricket and badminton both.
All right. According to multiple reports, Microsoft is cracking down on users who buy games via region change / VPN. So all you New Zealanders out there, better watch yourself.
Meow, meow.
Yeah.
Rumor is that during TGS, Jess Corton of Windows Central says the whole slate of Final Fantasy is coming to Xbox, including Pixel Remastered, 16, 7, and 7 Rebirth are coming to Xbox.
God dang it.
Again, with this rumor that's been around for, 4
Forever.
years now?
I was going to say, didn't we just talk about this last week?
I
Probably.
think we did.
Probably.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk said he is talking to Activision and there is something planned for the 25th anniversary of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Quote, I wish I could tell you more, but I can tell you that I've been talking to Activision again. We're working on something.
Bet it's a bet it's a skateboard game.
You think?
I bet.
Yeah.
It's in VR.
It's a dating sim.
I mean, sure. Why not?
You date the skateboards.
I mean, there's already a game for that.
Yeah, I said
Oh.
date anything or whatever.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'm very disappointed that they turn everything in that to people so you can date them. Just
Just have the toaster.
if JD
cost
Vance
you.
can fuck a couch, why can't I romance one?
Allegedly.
If Ubisoft
Allegedly.
if Ubisoft made it, it would be a faithful reproduction of Tony Hawk's entire life experience, only there would be no fucking skateboards in it.
It's really coming for Ubisoft.
Accurate.
It is accurate, though.
Xbox is bringing back friend requests.
I didn't know they ever left. It should
Yeah.
show you how much my friends list has grown.
Your friends list probably has grown because people just follow you now, like it's social media.
Well, my son has my old account, so I have like 5 friends on here.
Yeah. It's basically the way it worked was like somebody could follow you, and if you followed them back, you became friends.
Gotcha.
You didn't have to send a request like, hey, can you be my friend?
What did following you do? Just
It
let
let
them
you see
what
their
you were
activity and shit when they tried to make it like a social media platform. It's fucking stupid.
playing? That's weird.
All right. Singularity received a Microsoft Store listing, which is cool. That game's great. Wish they'd bring it back. And then the big story for Microsoft this week, the big ass rake they stepped on, is they laid off 3% of its global staff, around 650 people. Were let go. No games were canceled. No studios were closed. And according to Tom Warren, the layoffs have had a huge impact on the morale of the remaining Xbox employees. Most of the employees he has spoken to are confused by Xbox's strategy. Well, welcome to the club. We're all confused.
It sounds like it's also another round of post-merger layoffs, which I
Like
could have sworn they said weren't going to happen.
Yeah, you remember the court case? No, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we are.
Yeah.
We're not raising the price of Game Pass. We're divvying up Game Pass into different tiers. Which
Some
one
of
of
which
them
will cost more?
more? Yeah,
Divvying up is crazy.
You know what's even crazier is they're like, we're also going to add all of Activision's back catalog to Game Pass. Like, that didn't happen.
No.
What we got? We
Well,
got 3
They didn't-
games.
They didn't want Sony to have all the negative headlines this week, so
This is true. Let's
they were throwing a bone to Sony.
let's do the positive PlayStation news, and then we'll get to the bad stuff. So the positive news is that Herman Hulse said that Astro is very, very important to PlayStation. I think it's massively important to PlayStation Studios develops games in various genres, and the family market I think is really important for us to focus on. That's good. You should make more
That's
games
good.
like Astro, but although I have heard Astro is selling like ass.
It's
Oh,
awful.
that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say it. I haven't bought it yet, but I haven't bought it yet because I got other stuff that I got to finish before I can.
The numbers,
Like-
we actually have numbers out of Japan. It sold 12,000 copies.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I knew this was going to happen. Like, everybody talked this game up, but it's not going to sell. It's just not. And it makes me sad, because this game should be like one of those 10 million sellers.
Well, what'll happen is it won't sell, and then 5 years from now, people will be talking about how it's one of the best games of all time, and people will be pretending that they played it when they didn't.
Of course.
I think we just said that.
Yeah.
That's the discourse. That's how the pattern goes. Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll hear people campaigning like, Sony should make more of these games. Then motherfucker, buy
Yep.
it.
Why
Buy
did you
it.
buy it? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right. I need more good news. PlayStation System Update created a new home screen called the Welcome Hub, which, by the way, you get that update. You don't necessarily get the Welcome Hub. They're like rolling it out over time. Like I got the update, but I didn't get the Welcome Hub, which made me angry. They enabled remote play for individual users, personalized 3D audio profiles for headphones and earbuds, and the ability to share party voice chat links on messaging and social apps. Yay.
That's cool.
PlayStation Plus Premium/Extra games for September 2024. This is a pretty banger list. We got The Plucky Squire, Under the Waves, Night in the Woods, Chernobyl Light, Wild Card Football, Space Engineers, Road 96, Ben 10, and Far Cry 5. And then in the classic selection, we got Mr. Mosquito, which is a hugely deep pool, Sky Gunner, Secret Agent Clank, and Pistol Whip.
Secret Agent Clank? Wasn't that a
PSP game?
Yes, it was.
Wow, all right. Mr. Mosquito is a deep pool. Holy crap,
Yeah,
I think I played that.
I love Mr. Mosquito. It's a great game.
Yeah.
Let's get into the bad news. Sony started the week stepping on a little rake by increasing the price of the PS5 DualSense controllers by $5.
So ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those
We're
controllers,
this deep in this generation, and shit just keeps getting more expensive.
well,
It's flabbergasting.
I got more news for you for price
now,
increases.
before we go any further, what was the last problem that Sony had?
Concord?
I feel like it was.
Yeah,
That's it.
Concord.
Thank you. I forgot the name of it. That is exactly
I
Dude,
mean,
I
it was
think-
only around for like a week, so you're forgiven.
two,
for
but
hearing
yes,
the name.
yeah.
Oh, was it two? Okay.
I
Dude.
believe so. Yeah.
I showed
So-
you guys that email that I got where they removed it from my account, which was like one of the coldest things I've ever seen. You know what so like when you get an email in your inbox tells you who it's from and then a subject line, you know what the subject line for that email was?
It's
What?
dead, Jim.
It just said,
Jeez.
it literally just said Concord. It's
Still,
just,
I still can't get over the fact that we're gonna have a TV show episode about a game that you can't
Yeah.
fucking play. Maybe that's because that was always a bad idea, but I understand that it's part of the reason why that show probably gets to exist is that Sony paid a bunch, because nobody out of their in their right mind would go, I'm about to make a show and every episode's going to deal with different video games and I want to do one about Concord. No one did that.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Yeah,
Sony
understand,
Sony paid
but
money
but
to have that done. Yeah.
what an embarrassing thing though is to fucking put all your eggs in that basket.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. PlayStation had a hardware presentation, I guess, on Tuesday where they announced the PlayStation 5 Pro. It launches on November 7th. Pre-orders go live on September 26th. It does not come with a disc drive. It does not come with the vertical stand, which I think it's funny. People are making a deal about that. Like, who fucking cares? But it's $699 without a disc drive.
$699 United States dollars.
United States dollars, even.
Holy shit! Like
what are we doing?
Charge
Hold on.
$700 for a game console that nobody wants or needs.
I guess, yes.
like, there's been so much discourse about this online, and the discourse is driving me crazy because there's like the PC people saying, "Well, you could just build a PC." Like, man, shut up! Nobody cares.
It's $9.59 before tax up here.
That's without the disc drive, right?
Yes.
The disc
Now-
drive, by the way, is $80 in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. So $9.59. Now I don't know how it works in the
It was
States.
a very macho man from you there, Anthony.
Yeah, I like it. It's gonna be $9.59. Snap into it. Yeah, I'm bad at impressions. So I don't know how it works in the States, but in Canada, every province has a different tax.
Same.
Yeah,
Same
we have
here.
different
Yeah.
taxes. Yeah.
So I decided, because I definitely don't hide myself digitally and pretend I'm from that province to pay less taxes from Nintendo on digital stuff. But I believe it's a 5% tax in Alberta because they don't pay provincial tax, I believe. Anyways, they don't pay one of the two taxes that are like combined in most provinces now.
$606.95.
God. Jesus Christ, man.
So I just
For me in Ontario, it's $1,083.67 before a disc drive.
We talked about this earlier in the show, and I just want to revisit how this generation is super weird because we've got two consoles out there right now which haven't dropped a penny, and in fact have gone up in price in certain regions. We are 4 years into this console life cycle. People have stopped buying these consoles. Like, I know Sony still sells don't come at me with they're still selling but it's not like the PlayStation 4 where it was like booming. And the answer to this is to release a mid-gen refresh that's $200 more expensive without a disc drive? Like, it just...
And it doesn't do everything that you would hope. Like, when PS4 Pro and Xbox One X came out, they did things that the main console could not do. What I'm seeing from the videos, obviously there's not a ton out there, but still, is that like the window on the PS5 Pro you can see through. But on the original it has like a fog to it, so it's not fully transparent.
Dude, I've seen so many.
Like, okay, cool, but like, there's a reason. Like, there's no gameplay reason. We're literally just fighting for visual shit now, and it's like
they started this. They started this off with a game that came out on PlayStation 4.
Yeah. When I saw that pop up, I was like, wait,
oh yeah, I'll just pop my disc. Oh,
yeah, that'll be another $100.
Yeah, I don't get this. I don't get this at all.
Like, if you want to buy it, more power to you. Like, if you've got disposable income and you want that, which, like, news is coming out now. Like, Digital Foundry's been doing some shit on Patreon, and obviously people have been posting the news from that. Apparently, you know, they talked about 4K, 8K, all this shit that they were talking about. Alan Wake 2 runs on the PS5 Pro at 60 frames a second at a resolution of 848p.
What the fuck is the point of
What the fuck?
And I'm gonna put on your tinfoil, everybody. I'm going conspiracy mode.
Okay.
I have a feeling this would have hit better if Concord was a success. I have a feeling Concord was probably part of PS5 Pro.
I don't know why. Like,
I think they were. There's one thing I can't say. Maybe the style of Concord looks boring, but the visuals looked good.
Visuals were amazing, but they looked amazing on PS5. Like,
but what were they running at? 60, I'm assuming.
Yeah, 60. I mean, it looked beautiful.
I'm just saying, like, to me, I think it's very weird that it's 3 weeks after Concord got released.
Well, this thing's been rumored for like.
It's been rumored, but I mean, so is a bunch of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, timing wise, I think Sony had a little bit more control over the release of Concord and then the inevitable pull of it. It's too close together to be coincidental for me.
I think the weirdest thing about this is that he spent. This thing was only 9 minutes long. But he spent like the first 4 or 5 minutes talking about how like people prefer performance mode. People prefer to see things at 60 frames a second. And then you immediately show Harry Potter running at 30 frames a second.
Yeah, I saw that too. And I was like, but I didn't rewind it. I was in the middle of something when it was playing. But yeah, I saw that.
Like, there's just so many weird decisions in this presentation of like, you are right. Super sampling is amazing. Like, I would really like to see that in everything. And if PlayStation 5 Pro has its own, that's really cool. But, like, can you name me somebody on this podcast that is like, oh my god, ray tracing made this game better? Like, do y'all even care about ray tracing? Like,
No.
I don't.
Like it's one of the big. Like it's even worse than like.
I'm hoping this is the end of tech bros in video games.
I
They find somewhere else to go.
I just don't understand. Like they showed the Harry Potter with ray tracing. I was like, wow, that looks really good. It's running at 30 frames a second, so I'll never run that mode.
Right.
So like, what are we doing here? Like, is this the system we need to run Dragon's Dogma to lock 60 frames a second? Is that what?
Probably not, because didn't the video say that it's not going to turn or was that reported after that? Like it's not going to have.
It doesn't require it to run at 60 to be a
That's
PS5 Pro enhanced game.
Okay, yeah. See,
which is
why
like,
not?
what are we even doing? Like,
then what the fuck are we doing, right?
Like you said, 75% of PlayStation players prefer performance mode, and your next sentence was, "We want to eliminate them having to make that choice." Well, motherfucker, if it's still there, then it's still a choice.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
I don't know what we're doing. You can see stuff at 4K or apparently 868p, but you know.
I don't understand who this is for. And again, I'm so curious to see who's going. Well, I mean, because they're gonna give out a lot of them, I'm sure, because they're gonna need some good. Because I don't think this is going over well. Like I haven't seen a positive report outside.
Oh,
of,
there's people
like,
that
Jim
are
Cat
like
and,
fucking like, I'm gonna polish your shoes, sir.
Dude,
Or
there's so many
like,
people on
fucking-
Twitter like posting videos of them buying the vertical stand and the disc drive like it's a flex.
Yeah, see but you know, them are the wackadoos that you expect that type of shit from.
The
That's what I'm saying.
wackadoos.
Yeah, that's a good word, right?
That is a good word.
That's the ones you expect. The type of, I'm talking about like the IGNs.
I think I saw
like the
the best tweet yesterday where this guy the tweet is long, but he starts off, he's like, I was talking to my friend at work, and you know, we all have that friend at work that like is into video games but doesn't know anything about video games. And he's like, he was a PS4 guy, and he was like, I was waiting on the Pro to upgrade to my PS5. He's like, but what they showed didn't do anything, and that price turned me off. So then the guy that knew stuff about video games went into this whole spiel about like, here's a game at 60, here's a game at 144, and all this stuff. He's like, here's a game that's downsampled to a lower resolution, here's a game that's upsampled to a better resolution. And at the end of the story, the guy's like, yeah, I'll just get a PS5.
Yeah.
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 Like, it made me laugh so much to hear, man. Like, you went through this whole trial. Like, he actually showed him on his computer, like, here's what happens when this changes, blah, 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 blah. The guy's like, yeah, I'll just get a PS5.
Yep. I can see it.
Yeah, man, people don't care that much.
They really don't. Like, okay, go back to your question, Terrence. You're like, who is this for?
Mm-hmm.
This is for me. I'm that guy. Like, I want to have this, you know what I mean?
I got you.
But that video gave me nothing. Like, when I'm watching that video, I'm like, dude, you want me to pay $700 for that? I don't see it. Like, I don't see a $700 value for that.
I don't see $1,000 value.
I mean, right, our poor brother in the north.
Like,
you know.
just fucking Christ.
I feel like they'll probably patch some shit to it and make it, you know, do more, whatever, be more, you know, later.
Patch a fucking disk drive to it for that cost.
Why?
Thanks.
You know, I don't.
That one still doesn't make any sense to me, how you leave the disk drive out. Because we had people before this presentation were like, I think it's going to be $599, or I think it's going to be $650 with a disk drive. I'm like, well, you were way off the fucking mark. Like, that $700 price tag is so scary to me, because is that what these guys think we're going to pay next gen?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, but I think that this is Sony being like, and I think we've
they also don't have any competition. Yeah.
Right. There's that. And they're back to their PS3, you know, days of fuckery where they were just totally
I disagree with this. I know
really?
what you're going to say.
Okay. Go ahead.
People forget the price of Blu-ray players.
No, okay. I lived through
Blu-ray
that. They were expensive.
Were extremely expensive, and the PS3 was cheaper than a lot of them.
I will counter that, Anthony, with, have you priced a 4K Blu-ray player?
Nowadays?
Yes, nowadays. No. They're still like $300 to $400.
Oh my God, are they?
Mm-hmm. So the Xbox Series X has one. It's a shitty one, but it's got one. It's $500 for a console.
Yeah, it's I'm seeing a Sony one for $329.
Yeah, they're expensive. They're extremely
Damn.
expensive. So like, I get what you're saying with the Blu-ray thing, but like, we're in the same spot.
Right, sure. But what I'm saying is, it was brand new tech at the time. Like, I know your point, Ken, but like, that is the pro option, right? Like 4K Blu-ray and Blu-ray is the difference between PS5 and PS5 Pro to me. And you're trying, like, 4K is that upgrade cost to the current consoles. Because I still don't see anything that can't be done on old consoles, as is proven with most games being released on both PS4 and Xbox. Well, yeah.
Well, that's the other
Xbox
part of it
One.
is like, we've still got a ton of people. We talk, Ryan and I talked about this earlier. Like, console generation's weird. Like, a bunch of people are still on PS4. You know why? Because they play Fortnite. Because they play Roblox. Because they play shit that's going to work wherever.
Yep.
Like, name me 3 games that make you have to have a PS5. It's hard.
Astrobot, Spider-Man 2.
The fact that you're
I'm
struggling is a problem 4 years
The
in.
third one.
Like, the fact that you struggle
DLC
4 years
there
in is a
for,
problem.
Horizon.
Horizon's on PS4.
No, but the DLC
Forbidden West.
Sure, the DLC is on the PS5, but still, like, you still struggled, and it's 4 years in.
Mm-hmm. But I also, like, going back to my point with the Blu-ray player, is they kept the Blu-ray player and removed all the backwards compatibility from PlayStation, and that's when they became successful, and that's how they outsold Xbox.
Yeah,
But
they
the
made good
initial
changes
price
towards
point,
the end.
The amount of hardware and the jump from PS2 to PS3 was huge. We're going to see less and less each time, and people still seem to be surprised by it. Like, when you're going for realism only, eventually you fucking plateau.
I think Sony's plateaued. Like, you've got... I mean, it goes back to what I said earlier, that the first game you show for your new $700 console is a PS4 game. PlayStation kind of hit a plateau with their visuals. Like, they've looked amazing since PS4. Do you see a marked difference between those old PS4 games and these new PS5 games?
I mean, honestly, the only game on my PS5 that I remember thinking, "Wow, this is crazy," was Forbidden West.
But it was on PS4.
Forbidden West wasn't?
Yeah, it was.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it
No,
was.
I'm not talking about the base game. The DLC.
Yeah, the
the DLC is
yeah.
a different story, but the original game was on PS4 and it looked amazing.
No. Yeah, but the Forbidden West had the new robot that could
Burning
fly
shark.
into the sky and also underwater. And flying through the sky on that thing looked markedly better than the PlayStation 4 version.
Sure, that may
Even
be the
in
case.
the base game in PS5, it looked better than that.
Yeah,
That's the only game this gen that I can say looked like it justified the hardware.
And that's
Well, here's my
crazy to
spin.
me, 4 years in.
Here's my spin on this, though. PC games have been having a minimum and, like, recommended specs forever, and we're now in a console generation. And again, I don't think any of the actual programming or logic in the game is utilizing all this new tech that these consoles have. Apparently, they're using it for visuals, and it's like, as someone who doesn't care about visuals because I play old games too, I don't care how pretty it looks. I want to play a fun game. And it's like, well, the Horizon DLC is only on PS5. Why? Is there a specific reason? You got the main game to run. Now, maybe they did hit an issue. I don't know. But again, it's like,
I would be very surprised if they could have probably built a PS4 version of it, and it just would have been, they would have had to scale a whole bunch down.
I'm still like, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it does look markedly better, but I still think it could have been made on the PS4. Just like I think it's really shitty that Square made DLC for Final Fantasy VII Remake that doesn't work on the PS4. Like, what the fuck are we doing? And there's like, let's talk about an Xbox. If you want to pull that, like, what game on Xbox makes you want to buy a Series X? I can't think of one.
What game is Xbox putting
Are
out?
you kidding? Because I can think of. I really was hoping that one was going to come to me while I was finishing that, and it didn't come to me. So yeah,
There
I
you
guess
go.
there really isn't anything. Damn.
Like,
Damn.
So, but you can't at the same time, you can't have it both ways. We can't complain about being this deep in the generation and games still coming out on the last gen, and also complain that, well, if they just toned this down and changed this and removed this setting and took this off, they could have put it on the PlayStation 4. Like, at some
But that's
point,
how they're
you have
selling
to
their
cut
new
over.
console. That's how they're selling their new
No.
console. They're not like, this can only run with the power of the PS5 Pro. They're like, what, do you want an incremental upgrade? Well, that's how they've treated the PS5. That's not something I did. That's something they did.
They did the same thing with the PlayStation 4 Pro too, and the Xbox. I can't remember the fucking name of the Xbox.
One
The
X.
One X.
One X. Yeah, those were sold
kept
even though
Project
they were
Scorpio.
new. Even though they were new systems that cost the same amount as new systems, they were not sold as next gen upgrades.
no.
They were sold as incremental upgrades.
And I agree with that, but they were also the big difference back then was they had marketing like people cared about 4K and people cared about HDR, and also when those systems came out, they were the same price as the console before it, and the one below it dropped in price.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. Listen, I'm not justifying this PlayStation 4 Pro. I don't know how it has come around to that.
Oh.
What I'm saying is that you at some point, I don't know how we ended up on this game could be made on the PlayStation 4, because sure, if they toned down a whole bunch of shit, you could make it on the PlayStation 4. But at some point, you got to cut over, which is why I think the mid-gen upgrade stuff is stupid anyway. Because at some point, you have to either you have to cut the last gen off, or you have to accept the fact that for the rest of our lives as console gamers, everything is going to be cross-generation. Because it's going to turn into a PC where we're just upgrading incrementally forever.
Yeah.
So either you got to say, we're not making this for the PlayStation 4 anymore, period. I don't care whether we technically could or not, we're just not doing it. Or you have to say, everything we make, we're gonna have fluctuating qualities so that it can run across all these different platforms.
I think
But at some point, you got to make the decision.
No, I agree with you. I just think it's weird that two of the things that they did that for were DLC for PS4 games. That's what is really weird to me. Like, there wasn't a video game, there was a DLC for an existing game.
So calling Forbidden West a PS4 game, it was a game that was released on PS4. It was not a PS4 game. So it was a last gen version of a PS5 game. I still think would it be nice if they could have released the DLC on PS4 so that people who had it on PS4 could play the rest of it? Sure, but I'll tell you what, I really liked it on PS5, and the graphics qualities that they were able to give it because it was on PlayStation 5. So I don't know. If porting it to the PS4 takes away from some of that, I'm kind of okay with it not being ported to the PS4.
And that's fine. But I'm sure the people who played it on PS4 who didn't buy a PS5 were not.
Death Stranding Director's Cut.
Yeah.
It's like they outside of Spider-Man 2, right? I just Ratchet and Clank, they lied about saying it needed a specific hard drive. The PS5 had, look, it can run on PC. So it's just like, there's certain things where it's just like,
you shouldn't believe any of them. Like, they're all just selling you marketing
They shouldn't believe anybody. They have a product to sell. I understand.
Look at the lies of P. Spencer.
That makes me want to leave the podcast, Ken.
Oh, my bad joke.
Oh my god, it was bad. Holy shit. Lies of P. Spencer. Ugh, fucking sound like Jim Cat.
Except I'm not serious.
Yeah, I know. But it's just... One side, I don't know. I don't like the current state of video games, and I feel like PS5 Pro is the monument to just how shitty video games have become. Because it's like, again, I don't know why people have always gone for the think about how realistic this could all work. You could make anything. Why make real life? Like, it just, especially when the tools are like, we're literally scanning people's faces in. It's not even like handmade stuff anymore. There's a reason why like Silent Hill 2 still looks amazing. And that's because when you think about it, someone hand animated all of it. That's crazy. And then it's like, well, we have all these powers and we're using it for visuals, so the glass looks more real. Okay. I don't know, just fucking bums me the fuck out that video games are this now. And $1,000 fucking dollars.
To be fair, video games have always been this. The difference now is that the increase in visual fidelity is not as significant. But the push for every generation of video games that have existed is this tech can make games look and run better. That's been the case literally since we went from the Atari to the NES. The difference now is diminishing returns because the PlayStation 5 Pro, if you're just looking at it on a screen, listen, I don't give it. We've talked a million times on this show that I don't give a shit about frame rate. 30, 28, 60, all looks the same to me. If you show me that stuff next to each other, there's no discernible difference. The difference in previous gens was if you put Xbox and Xbox 360 next to each other, there's an immediate difference. If you put PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 next to each other, there's an immediate difference. You put N64 and the GameCube next to each other, there's an immediate visual difference that's like, wow, that makes a massive difference in the way that game looks and runs. All these incremental systems, basically every system anymore is like, yeah, I guess if I zoom into this piece of the fence here, I can see 2 more tines on this fence than I could see on the PlayStation 5 version. So that's worth my $700. But the general momentum of the new system makes games look and run better has always been the genesis.
Sure, but I don't think the N64 could do things logically that the Super Nintendo could not. Same with the GameCube. Well, the Wii didn't, but the Wii brought in motion controls, for better or worse. I don't know. It's just like, maybe it's because it's easy to say that because I feel like Sony is the one that pushes forward the best visuals anyways in most of their work. But I don't know. I'm partially a lot of my frustration comes from the fact that like I'm just being priced out of a hobby. And I can't tell if it's corporate greed or that it's because people will actually buy this shit. Like I legitimately do not know anymore. I just want to play games that are fun. That's kind of why I gravitated to the hobby in general. And I feel like nobody fucking gives a shit about that for the most part. And then they have the one game like Astrobot that they do. And I'm like, I want to play that. But you also have to pay in $700 right now, $1,000 when it comes to the PS5 Pro. And it's just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. What these mid-gen refreshes do, though, is the exact same argument we were just having about PS4 and PS5. Is 2 years from now, people are going to be complaining that putting games on the PS5 holds back their performance on the PlayStation 5 Pro, and we're going to be right back in this same argument again. Because we're 4 years deep in this gen, and we've decided we need a half step. I don't know. I bought a PlayStation 4 Pro because I felt like it was necessary. I did not buy series, whatever the hell it was called, Xbox One. I
X.
still can't remember. You guys just told me, and I still can't remember.
One X.
There's not a chance in the world I'm buying this PlayStation 5 Pro. But I mean, we are going to end up back in this same argument again, where people are going to bitch about the fact that they also have to develop. I mean, look at the Series S stuff, right? We're going to be in that same mode in 2 years, where people are like, "Oh, the regular PlayStation 5's holding us back." Because if everything had to be developed for the Pro, we'd be able to have this extra cloud in this section.
You know what's crazy is, like, in 2 years we're gonna have a new Xbox next gen console, most likely. You want to talk
Probably
about?
so.
You want to talk about too
And
much
we'll
shit?
we'll probably end up spending half of that generation developing games for the Series S or Series X.
I wouldn't be surprised if we were still making PS4 games then.
Probably so. The install base of that thing is ridiculous.
Yep. All right, we're way deep. So I'm gonna go do some emails and tweets. Like, I'm not even gonna finish the news because it's like we're almost at 3 hours.
Was there anything worth talking about in the news, really?
I kind of
Flappy Bird is coming back. Also, it's not the original creator, and he said he didn't sell the copyright. He just forgot to register the trademark again. So somebody bought it up, and the creator of Flappy Bird also said he's not into crypto, which the new owners of Flappy Bird are. So
yeah, it looks like an NFT game.
Bird. Yeah, don't play Flappy Bird.
Yeah, don't buy that thing. Don't download that thing. Yeah, most of the rest of the news is kind of eh. So I'm gonna skip it and go straight to the emails and tweets. Hopefully run through these pretty quick. Kurt writes in and says, "I'm not getting all the PS5 Pro hate that is out there. If people don't find it worth the price, then don't buy it." I'll come back to that. I will grant that for that price, it should have come with an optical drive, but that doesn't change my overall opinion. I find Ferraris and NVIDIA 4090s overpriced, but you don't hear me crying online about how expensive they are. I acknowledge they are more than I want to spend and move on with my life. I realize you run a gaming podcast, so you have to have opinions, but the constant negativity and bashing against certain things seems weird to me. On last week's show, you all said the PS5 Pro will flop, but even now knowing the price, I will have to disagree with that prediction. Will it sell 40 plus million units? No. But I doubt...
Sorry, you can disagree with us, but let me explain again. If you view it from the point of, like, America, maybe, but, like, other countries are going to have absurd prices on this thing. It is not going to be a huge success.
Well, I mean, the original PS4 Pro had a I think the install percentage was something like 24% of PlayStation sold after the Pro launched were Pros, and it ended up being like 15% of the total amount. So it's now you're selling a mid-gen upgrade that is less needed than the PS4 Pro was on a system that is more expensive, and the next-gen upgrade mid-gen upgrade is more expensive. So I would be surprised if this thing ends up being more than 15% of PlayStation 5s that get sold. Also, and if that's considered a success by Sony, more power to them. But it's not going to be, this massive, 50% of all PlayStation sold are going to be the PS5 Pro. It's just not going to happen unless they discontinue the original PS5, which they're not going to do.
Yeah, thing with the PS4 Pro was that PS4 had a price drop. PS4 Pro came in, I think, a little bit more than the original.
No, it was $399.
It was $399. Okay,
yeah.
So, and eventually you stopped being able to find PlayStation 4s as much, like long before the PS5, because remember we went through COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that artificially increased the number of PS4 Pros being sold too, because you want a console. Those people may have gone in or searched for a PS4, and PS4 Pro was their only option. I don't think this is going to be the same problem, because I don't think as many people are buying PS5s as they did PS4s.
I think the only thing they phase out
even more money.
Yeah, I think the only thing they phase out is that original fat PS5. I think they keep the slim being the most produced unit.
Sure. But it's
Yeah.
still not like a monetary, like, oh wow, I saved so much money by.
If Sony if Sony pushed it to where the Pro is like the most readily available and it's hard to get the other ones, their sales will drop because $700. And okay, you're gonna get the people yelling at me like, well, everybody buys an iPhone every year. Those are subsidized. Like people pay those per monthly. Very few people drop a straight $1,000 on a phone.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Like you can't do that with a PlayStation 5 Pro.
Well, not to mention, not everybody upgrades their phone every year. Some people do, yes.
Right.
Sure.
But I still have a 10X. Or not a 10X,
I got a 12.
but an X, an iPhone X.
Damn. Yeah, okay, you ahead of me.
So the and if there's two things here. If you are interested in the PS5 Pro and you want to buy one, that more power to you. Buy one.
It's your money.
Available there to you. You are more than welcome to buy it. I am also going to say that I think it's an unnecessary upgrade, and I think the price is ridiculous. So both things can be true. If you would like to buy it, you can. The price is still ridiculous. You're just paying a ridiculous price for it.
Yeah.
And I recognize it's cheaper than a 4090 graphics card or whatever. I'm so tired of the computer. Listen to me calling it a computer.
What are you 80? Well, it's a computer.
Of the PC to console comparison. The reality is we've known this forever that PCs and home consoles are held to completely different standards from a price and performance standpoint. They just are. It's always been that way. It's been that way from the time of the 386. So bringing in the 4090 graphics card as a comparison, it just doesn't hold any water to me.
It's also worth noting that if you look at Steam charts, that's like what 2% of people who play on PC.
Oh yeah, nobody. The vast majority of people who are playing on Steam are playing on what could only be described as mid-level PCs.
Oh yeah, I mean, whatever my piece of shit is definitely in that area.
The only time my PC is even like comparable to anything else is when I have to buy a new one.
Right. So I don't know, man. Again, if you think $700 is a reasonable price for the performance that you're going to get out of it, and you're the type of person that is super interested in ray tracing and all of that stuff, then I think it's great that this is going to be out there for you. I think pretending that the only people it affects are the people who buy one is wrong and short-sighted, because as we've already demonstrated on this podcast, we're going to be hearing the bullshit about how the PS5 Pro isn't being used to its full performance threshold because they still have to develop for the regular PS5 and they should have just done a full gen cutover. We're going to be hearing that for years. But if you want to buy one, just buy one. It's cool. We're allowed to think it's stupid.
And the last part of his email says, I doubt Sony has that sort of forecast for these. It's a high-end niche product, no different than the top-of-the-line iPhone 16, and there is a market for that even if it's not you. Or me, as I have no plans to purchase it at this time. You're correct. That is... I would doubt Sony is planning for this to sell a ton. I don't have to buy it, which... That's fine. That argument is not... That's not really an argument, that's just a statement.
I just have to ask, though, like... Why are you sending the email? If you also don't believe that it's worth the money, then why do you care that we don't think it's worth the money? I don't know that I really understand the conceit of the email.
Yeah, it's like
if you're not buying one, clearly it's because you don't think that it's worth the investment, right? So I don't understand why you don't you're upset that we don't think it's worth the investment.
I just think it sets a nasty
I don't
precedent
understand.
for next gen being $700, and I don't want
I
that.
was gonna jump on that because like I've talked about it before. I don't really buy music anymore. Now, part of that is because I have most of what I want. The other part of it is that like, and I buy mostly CDs. The cost of music has gone up, and the quality isn't there. It's not like just because they're like putting in a little bit more effort in to get your money now doesn't mean it stays that way either. Like, used to be like, oh, I'd buy a CD, I'd get like a booklet and all that stuff, and now it's like maybe you get like a little bit more in there, and it's still $20 for a CD, which is kind of absurd because I used to buy them for like $12 new. And it's like, there's always this idea that like, well, it's fine where I am right now. Yeah, no, it doesn't stay fine because as you lose customers, you don't sell as many games, and then you have to start choosing what projects you are taking on stuff. It's like, I don't know. I just see anytime there's like this corporate greed, because that's what it comes off to me anyways. I just see the hobby getting ruined.
Well, and the other thing that it does is, and this is, I think it's kind of a given just with the nature of the way machines are built today and the sort of where we've moved as a community. But the more emphasis you put on these machines, the more likely the games are going to reflect that emphasis. So we're going to have games that prioritize the things that these machines can do to try to sell the machines. And I don't really care enough about the things that this machine can do for me to want all of my games on PlayStation to be centered around that.
All right. This, of course, every email and tweet is going to be about this. So I'm going to move on to the next email. Shogun here says, can we finally have a real discussion about Sony? I've been beating around the bush for a while, but what the hell is going on with Sony? Steinfeld voice. Asking for $700 American dollars screams desperation. Maybe this company isn't doing so well and they need money. This can't just be arrogance. I'm going on my fourth...
Well, they did just have a multi-million-dollar 7-year development game flop.
Sure.
Which also doesn't help this announcement, by the way. Because, like, that was in my mind, although I forgot the name of the game, because I don't give enough of a shit anymore. I'm just kind of... After hearing the price point and knowing it was going to be over $1,000, I just kind of was like, I'm not going to even bother looking at PS5s anymore.
I don't necessarily think that it's desperation or arrogance. I think that they came into the generation saying no matter what happens, we're going to have a mid-gen refresh because the last one was so successful.
Yeah.
I think what it boils down to is they probably had that plan already from the very beginning. And then this generation has gone, and not great for anybody, but better for them than Microsoft. So they probably just feel like, well, no sense changing our plan.
Yep.
I don't think it's a good plan, but I don't think it was a change of plans.
No, I think they're par for the course at this point. He says, I'm going on my 4th week of a strike, so my budget has been altered dramatically. PlayStation Pro, we got a PlayStation at the house with the same games.
Yeah, that's right, 100%.
Sony showed nothing and asked for $700 with their chest, and then you don't get a disc drive or a stand? GTFO, Sony.
He said with their chest. That was funny.
Digital Foundry is already poking holes in the reveal video. Some games will still run at 30 frames a second. Super sampling is the future, but $700 is a lot of money in this economy for a 15% boost in performance. Also, now we get to find out if the developers are really, quote, lazy. They complained about the Series S. Well, Sony just added one more SKU for them to work on that has its own unique functionality. With Microsoft's system possibly 2 years away, what game will they actually develop in 2 years that will use the tech? Feels like this will only be used on older games, so what's the real purpose of this console? I'm sorry guys, but this console just screams, I need money. Finally, Sony doesn't have a smart delivery. This new system doesn't natively upgrade games without some work from the developers. Does this mean you have to pay for these PlayStation Pro games? They have done this before? You had to pay $10 more for the PS4 Pro add-on. I'm not sure if one showcase can restore Sony's image. At this point, PC gaming is a better option. Hell, a Fire Stick is a better option. I don't agree with that. Sony has lost it. Ran over. Oh, this also gives the green light for Microsoft to ask $700 on their next system. Yeah, that's the big one.
I didn't even think about what he said about they don't have a
patch
smart
prices.
delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that is going to complicate things because it's already. I don't think it's reported on big, but it's like it's a bit of a headache to find sometimes the PlayStation versus PS4 option. I think they've made it better, but yeah, that's man.
Will there be
back to my point about at some point you have to cut bait on the last gen stuff. You got these developers that are now developing for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Series S, Series X, PlayStation 5, and now PlayStation 5 Pro.
And don't forget about Switch.
And Switch. Yeah, I tend to leave Switch off because Switch doesn't have the same expectations that everything else
that
has.
could change next year, though, for sure.
It could. I don't think it will. Both because the system still is only going to run like a PS4, and because it's Nintendo. Listen,
it's fair. It's fair.
That is fair.
It's a purposeful decision on their part for the last however many gens now to have the least powerful console. And you know what? They sell the shit out of them. So
that they do.
Also, I'm going to say, like, as much as I'd love to joke about Sony needing money, like, this is not how you make money. Like, this just doesn't...
No, I don't think it has anything to do with
this
that.
Just doesn't make sense. You don't ask... You would make a cheaper product and ask the price that you're paying now. That's generally how it's done. They call it shrinkflation now, I guess.
Yeah.
That's how you would make money back if you needed it. It's not a money grabbing scheme. I genuinely don't think they're selling this at a huge profit. I just think it's poorly timed and poorly thought out.
If nothing else, what it is marketing. Because not only do you have a new console out on the shelf that they can tout, but now what you can do with most of the games that are out there on the market is you can compare how it runs on the Series S to how it runs on the PS5 Pro. And however disingenuous that comparison is, it's going to be the comparison that gets made. We're going to see people talking about how the new, I'll use Madden as an example just because I know it's a mainstream game. There will be people next year comparing how Madden 26 runs on the PlayStation 5 Pro and the Xbox Series S. And they know that those comparisons are going to happen. So it's good marketing for them to have a system out there that they can say, look how this runs on PlayStation. And put in the fine print at the bottom that it's running on PlayStation 5 Pro.
All right. Let's do these tweets and get out of here. Where people, I've already turned this off 30 minutes ago. David tweets in and says, Ken, did you notice the changes?
I turned it off 20 years ago.
That's true. Ken, did you notice the changes to Madden after the update? I'm playing All Pro. All of a sudden, there weren't any easy throws. Yeah, that happens. Like, I feel like the last 2 seasons, you've had to tone down some of the sliders on pass coverage just because those DBs just intercept everything, which is kind of annoying. So it sounds like they're doing that again. I haven't played much since the latest patch, so I haven't noticed it. Jeremy says, hey guys, I haven't played jack squat with the new job and kids starting school. Hope all is well with you. Also, any chance of getting Drew back on the show? Ha ha ha.
Eventually, probably 10 years from now.
Yeah, once his kid is grown up. If he doesn't have another one, then it's going to be a cycle.
Yep.
Shogun says, I sent an email. I'm sorry it's so long. It's all good. We read it. Hopefully we answered your questions. And then finally, John says, guys, the last season of Unsolved Mysteries is pretty good. I really like the reboot. There's also a new Netflix show called Homicide Los Angeles that's pretty good. First season is New York City. Definitely going to try Star Wars Outlaws, but I'm giving it time to be patched.
Yeah.
And go on sale is what you should wait for.
We talked a lot about Star Wars Outlaws. Just know what you're getting into.
Yeah, and wait for a sale. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen.
Totally going to happen. But that's it. Holy shit, what a show. Lots of stuff covered. We'll be back next week with more games. And hopefully there's less rakes next week, but I'm not counting on it.
No.
These two companies seem to be like trying hard to outdo each other in the rake stepping, and Nintendo's just over here like, we're good.
Yeah.
We got a Zelda coming out at the end of the month.
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're good.
What about your next console?
We'll show you when we're ready, bitch.
We have nothing to talk about yet.
Right.
Just keep buying our games on this. Jesus Christ, how old is that thing now?
8 years.
8 years.
8 years, and that thing's still selling like hotcakes. It's crazy.
You know what?
Yeah.
I've never looked at a Nintendo published game and gone, this doesn't look good.
Nope.
This needed a Switch Pro.
Yeah.
Well,
there's
the performance on the Zelda games are a little rough, but
yeah.
Outside of that, most of the time
I
it's not an
can tell
issue.
you that not one time playing those games did I ever think about the performance.
I did because I would love to see Zelda run at 60 frames a second again, but
I did because I could see that it was dropping. That was the problem in certain areas.
Yeah, especially in the Kokiri Forest. Remember that drop? Oh, that's nasty. But anyway, that's all the video games for you this week. If you want to tweet us, it's at ZTGD Radio on Twitter. If you want to email us, it's podcasts at ztgd.com.
Why would you want to?
I mean, people do, so let them do it. They like us.
We have
we're
nothing
good enough.
interesting to say. Look at our stupid arguments today. Like
we're smart enough.
Oh, that's definitely a lie.
And doggone it, people like us.
People are wrong.
people like us a lot less than when Gambrell was on the show.
I mean, that's fair. But, you know, he's the unicorn. We'll never get him back.
No.
Anyway, that's it for this week. So unless anybody has anything else, I hope you don't because it's 3 hours in. We'll get out of here. Peace, bitches.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.